Investors, welcome back to Green Money Momentum. I'm your host, Trevor, and we are here today for Soundhound AI's earnings. We're going to be doing a live reaction to when they report their earnings initially, which is going to be here in just a couple of minutes. We're already seeing some volatility from the pre-earnings anticipation, and then shortly after that, we will be getting into the earnings call. So that's going to be at 2 o'clock. Thank you to everybody who is here. As I told you guys, a very busy day for me overall. So just a couple minutes late to the party for myself, but I see that there are already some dedicated members of the Green Money Momentum familia here. We have Two Wheels Pursuit. Two Wheels, thank you for being here. As always, my friend, I knew you would be here. You have been awesome for the channel. You have shown so much support, and I know that you are a big bull on Soundhound AI. So great to see you here, my friend. As we could see, we're already having some anticipation for this earnings report, which is going to be released here in about 6 minutes. So exciting times. We have Mittler, hey, my friend, you were here in the last live stream as well, so great to see you here once again, saying Sound making some sharp moves before the close. Yeah, right now, Soundhound AI is currently sitting at a price of $9.60. Wow, some incredible movements. I didn't even get to catch the last bit of these movements towards the end of the day. I got the live stream set up earlier, and then I had a lot to do, so a very busy day for me overall, but I could start to calm down and just have fun with you guys because we've officially made it to the live stream. So thank you to everybody who has shown up. Two Wheels Pursuit agreeing that yes, we do have a end of the day rally, and then another day, another trade, another longtime subscriber of this channel, my friend. Great to see you here once again. Two Wheels Pursuit saying shorts covering. That could definitely be volume surging with volatility, wild volatility, and cheers, my friend. Thank you to everybody who is here. Let's take a look at the gamma exposure levels for Soundhound AI. See where the expected move is. We did talk about this a little bit in yesterday's video, but gamma influences delta, and this is where we could really see the expected move. This is where price magnets are kind of on the stock. These are seen as the real levels of support and resistance. So we do have a lot of gamma exposure right around $10 in terms of calls, and then for puts, we do have much around $9, $8, and then also $7.50. So if we draw out the gamma exposure levels, it looks like I already had them drawn out from yesterday's video. This is what I am hoping to see. This is not a candlestick, but I am hoping to see a breakthrough through these levels. But these are the main levels of gamma exposure where these prices can act as a magnet. If you were here for the last earnings report with Big Bear AI, insane how accurate these gamma exposure levels are. Same with Robinhood's earnings. We also did look at Robinhood's earnings most recently, and it's like with the earnings report, it went right down to those major levels of gamma exposure, showing that these levels of gamma can really be places of price magnets. And so I have this article here, what's going on with Soundhound AI on Thursday. And so it is their earnings today. And I thought this was very interesting because it says short interest dynamics. Data shows a significant bearish bet against the stock. Short interest recently rose from 140 million to 146. This represents 38% of the company's float. So 38% of the float on Soundhound is being shorted. We just talked about this in yesterday's video. Not only do we have a significantly high short interest with about 40% being shorted, but we also have a very small market cap at just 4 billion. And many times Soundhound has been known to release great earnings. So if they do that once again, if they beat on Wall Street's expectations, we may be seeing a big squeeze up. Right now, Soundhound is seeing some momentum overall. Whoa, it looks like now we're getting a big red candlestick. Wow. So we did did have that pre-running anticipation, and now we are getting shot here in the after hours. But again, no concern. We did talk just a second ago where our levels are at. So at the lowest point, if the bears get what they want, I could see Soundhound AI going right back to around $7. But also the earnings has not officially been released just yet. So we still have 2 minutes for the official earnings. And so we'll just have to see what actually comes out with this report. As far as I know, Soundhound has not yet released. Let's go over to the website and see if we got anything for their quarterly earnings, see if it has officially came out. So it does not look like it has officially been released yet. This will be for the earnings call that we have at 2 o'clock. And give me just a second, guys. Like I say, I came onto the computer screen a little bit late today. So also, I did want to point out that Soundhound did launch this yesterday, a self-learning AI agent platform. So it is one of the best AI stocks under 50 to buy right now on May 5th. So this Monday, Soundhound launched OASYS, Orchestrated Agent System, a category-defining platform that introduces a self-learning ecosystem where AI autonomously builds and manages other AI agents. Wow, that is insane to hear. So we're talking about AI and how much automation is with AI. Well, Soundhound just introduced this, meaning that there is even more automation for this company. Overall, I am very, very bullish on Soundhound. Right now, we are seeing a nasty red candlestick, but again, this is just pre-earnings volatility. We still have 1 official minute before the earnings actually gets released. We should see them here in real-time data, as we do have their website up right here. Let's see. Looks like nothing has been reported of yet. So we still have 1 minute until we officially get the actual earnings report from Soundhound AI. And then let's go back to the chat really quick. Hello, everybody. And no red. Yes, we do have some red right now. But again, the actual earnings has yet to be released. And so earnings are always super volatile. I see this all the time with these earnings reports. Many times you'll get a big, thick green candlestick towards the upside right before the earnings gets released, or like we're seeing here, a red candlestick, and then you could get a complete flip or a complete collapse depending on how those earnings come out. And now it is officially 110. So curious if Soundhound has officially released their earnings. Again, we just drew out the main levels of gamma here, and it looks like they have officially released. We have a 1 cent EPS, earnings per share loss. Let's see if we got anything updated here on the Soundhound website. Let me go to Google and see if I could get a Soundhound quarterly earnings from their website, earnings on the website. Let's see if that was released here. I am set up to be in the earnings call, and again, I appreciate everyone who is here today, because usually I like to be a bit more prepared for these, but again, I just had a very busy day. So if anybody has any links or anything like that to get to the actual earnings report, I would love to see. So it looks like here, at least on the website, I am not yet officially seeing that update, because we are here for the quarter 1 of 2026 earnings. And here on the website, I'm just seeing back to 2025. So I'd be curious, my friend, to see where you got that. I'm updating on their website. I am not seeing anything for 2026 as of yet. I have refreshed multiple times. Let's just type in Soundhound earnings on Google and see if we have gotten anything thus far. And then on Robinhood, okay, so it looks like you're getting that real-time data out on Robinhood. Well, that is wonderful to hear. Also say, hey, I think this is the first time I've ever seen you in the live stream, so thank you for joining us here. We go live every single Sunday just before the overnight session opens, and then we also do a lot of these quarterly earnings, and I'm not always as frantic as I have been today, as again, I was just late and I just barely got to the computer just moments before the markets actually closed today. So it does look like we've hit a big red candlestick here. We are down to $8.60. I'm going to go over to my Robinhood and see if I can officially see the update here on the earnings. And so here we're going to I'm going to take this link here that I have on my phone. I'm going to share it over to the computer. By the way, guys, if you're wondering why I'm wearing the sunglasses, that's just because I have some irritation in the eyes. And so here is officially how Soundhound did report earnings today. So Sound earnings, Soundhound posts a 52% revenue growth in Q1 as demand for voice and agentic AI rises. Soundhound has fallen in the after hours, such as we've seen, after the voice and agentic AI company reported earnings for its first quarter of fiscal 2026. Q1 revenue increased by 52% year over year to 44.2 million and beat analysts' expectations of 42.56 million. The top line growth was aided by strong demand for its voice and agentic AI technologies across automotive, IoT, enterprise, and consumer markets. And so it looks like when it comes to Wall Street's expectations, we haven't quite got we did actually get the update here on Earnings Hub. So it's like I see everything here except for on Soundhound, but they did beat on the earnings. So Soundhound once again coming out with a great earnings report, beating on Wall Street's estimates. And it does look like what they are expecting for the next quarter 2 of 2026. They are looking to continue to crush it out of the park, as the next quarterly is expected to be even larger than this quarterly right here. And then again, coming in with a decent EPS at a 1-cent loss. So overall, just what we've seen in this initial report from Soundhound, it actually does look like this was a positive to me. Now, we are seeing a sell-off right now when we do look at Soundhound AI, but we got to remember that these earnings reports, as I always say, this is kind of like a basketball or a football game. We have two halves. So we get the first half, which is where the company does report on their earnings. We see the initial report, the initial reaction from Wall Street, and then right after that, we will have that earnings call, which will be at 2 o'clock. So we will be going through that earnings here in just a little bit. And when we do look at where the price is right now, 812, it does look like it's not quite updated here yet, but it would be slightly at the bottom of this trend that we have seen, this ascending trend, where we most recently may have found a bottom here at the end of March. And so again, right now, Soundhound is being clobbered by Wall Street, going back down to, looks like it might be going down to $7. Again, I am not too concerned. We did talk about the major levels of gamma, which again, do act as major price magnets. We saw this be pretty accurate with Big Bear's earnings. We saw this with Robinhood, and now once again with Soundhound AI. There's a lot of gamma exposure under the $8 mark for the puts, a lot around $7.50, and then also $7. And so if the bears do get what they want, we could collapse below those levels, but also we may just stay in this range right here between $7.50, and then there is a lot of call volume around $10. Let's take a look here at the other small cap that we were looking at this last week on a Tuesday. I was saying how with gamma exposure, Big Bear AI might remain right around the $4 mark. If the dealers get what they want, that would be max pain right underneath $4. There are a lot of puts and a lot of calls right around $4, and even more calls towards the upside. So if the dealers get what they want, we could see Big Bear slightly finishing just a couple cents under that $4 mark. And so it'll be interesting to see what we see with this earnings report, this official earnings call with Soundhound here at 2 o'clock in just about 45 minutes. Right now, this could be a buy the dip scenario, though, because Soundhound did just beat on Wall Street's expectations. And again, 52% revenue growth in Q1, and demand for the voice and agentic AI is rising. So very exciting things to see there with them right here. And let's take a look here. Let's see their earnings release. And so this comes now officially from Soundhound AI. We'll get to the chat and then we'll look here again in a second. And then pretty big drop, value grab. And then hello, Green family. Kristen the mom, thank you for joining us once again. Great to see you here in the live stream. Another OG. Yes, we are reacting to Soundhound's earnings. We did just get the report. In my opinion, right now it does look positive. When we do look at how they came out for this quarter, they did just beat on earnings, and their next quarterly is expected to be even larger. So with what I just read here from Tip Ranks, it does appear that Soundhound did just report a great earnings. It does appear that we are getting shot here a little bit, but again, to no surprise, as there is some price magnets right around $7 and then at the higher mark of $10. So I would not be surprised if we remain at this range through the week. And then now, we're about to go to Soundhound's official earnings release and see what they have to say. So just as we talked about, they just launched this right here as the gold standard agentic platform to revolutionize the way businesses interact with customers across every channel and touch point. Soundhound started the year strong with our top line growth, growing 52%, excluding the impact on all acquisitions. Revenue was up 88% in our core automotive and IoT AI vertical, highlighting incredible demand across all pillars of our business. The CEO said our launch of OASYS and our planned acquisition of LivePerson will bring the world's first self-learning agentic AI platform to one of the most robust enterprise footprints in the entire conversational AI sector. So it is fun to go through these earnings reports, but I will say for Soundhound AI, I'm not necessarily looking at this company as the next candlestick. I have a long-term vision with this company. I've been covering Soundhound since 2024, and that is because this company is constantly growing. They have great customer acquisition, and they are doing big innovation. And with what they just released here, this agentic AI, this OASYS, the way I'm seeing it right now is they just created an AI that could help to train other AI. That is incredible because the use case for all artificial intelligence is to bring down the time and cost it takes for everything. And so if the AI could just train the AI, that is massive. And then in terms of their financial highlights, the first quarter reported revenue was $44.2 million, an increase of 52% year over year. And so I am a bit surprised to see this sell off initially with this earnings report, but I guess you can't be too surprised with Wall Street because we will often see this where you do get a great earnings and the company still gets shot initially. Again, this is a two-part scenario, a two-half game. So we still do have that earnings call in 45 minutes, but 52% year over year growth, that is tremendous to see. And then first year GAAP gross margin was 31.1%. Non-GAAP gross margin was 49.7%. The first quarter GAAP net loss was $25 million. Non-GAAP loss was $26 million. So we've talked about this before. This is where you see the negative EPS. Soundhound AI still does have a lot of debt, still technically working at some negatives, but there's been a lot of research and development with this company, but they are constantly progressing. And what I do love with Soundhound AI, despite being in some research and development stages, this company is still growing. Their revenue still picking up more customers, and the research and development is not being wasted. They are making some real use case scenario improvements, such as this agentic AI. And then let's go down to look at the business highlights here. Soundhound signs agreement to acquire LivePerson. So acquisition will combine Soundhound's strength in voice and agentic AI with LivePerson's digital messaging service. I have not heard of LivePerson, so let's take a look at what LivePerson is. The best conversational AI platform for business. So it does look like Soundhound is growing and expanding, and they just acquired this company. Wow, that is big to see. We've seen some big acquisitions recently with some of our favorite companies. Big Bear AI just recently did acquire Ask Sage at the end of 2025. Now Soundhound doing similar. Soundhound did just acquire this company right here, which is LivePerson. Know your agents are ready before your customers say hi. This is really where the world is going right here. So now you could have this on different websites. If you have your own website, you could have these AI talk to customers, again, taking people off of the phone, taking people off of the computer, and overall just opening up the world for more productivity with this AI. And with, Soundhound's agentic AI that they just created, AI can train their AI. So this is exciting to see. And this is trusted by the world's most innovative brands, it looks like. So this company right here, wow, this is a massive acquisition. This could greatly improve Soundhound's future. So this company right here works with Burberry, PNC, and some other big players right here. Predictable conversational AI for modern customer CX leaders. And so Soundhound, not just the voice AI, but now it looks like Soundhound is going into this as well. Let's go back to what they did just say. So they just acquired this. The combined company expects a $500 million revenue opportunity, accelerated path to profitability, and a strong balance sheet with no debt. Another reason why I like Soundhound AI, although this company has, required a ton of funding, they have gone into a ton of debt in some ways. This company is continuing to expand and continuing to grow, and then launching OASYS, launched the world's first self-learning. This is massive. The world's first self-learning. Man, I am so bullish on Soundhound, orchestrated agentic AI platform where AI builds AI. Wow, that is the future right there if I have ever heard it. It looks like Soundhound has started to find a support after the sell-off, down by about 10%, now at $8.40. If we go look over at the gamma exposure levels, let's go there again. This is for the options contracts and the weekly expo. We are right here in the middle, right at $8.50. There is a lot of put gamma there, and then there is also a decent amount of call volume going towards the higher side. And again, right now the bears, at least here in this short moment, do have a bit of a vice grip on Soundhound. There is a 38% short interest, but this could also lead to a squeeze at any point if things get out of control and if Soundhound does come out with some bullish catalysts. In my opinion, this sell-off right here is a bit unjust because this company just came out with a great earnings and they also have great things to say. And this right here, this OASYS, this AI building AI, that is massive because the whole use case scenario behind AI is it's supposed to make things easier and take less time for us humans. And so, boom, right there you have that right there. And OASYS allows businesses to do in minutes what once took months by managing the entire agentic AI lifecycle, automatically creating, orchestrating, evaluating, and improving agents over time. That is massive. Again, AI to me is so amazing. I think this is the greatest tool we've ever seen in humanity. Some I'd feel aren't even really appreciative of what we have right now. I just recently created this. This is greenmoneymomentum.com. I have a lot of work to do on this website, but I have a placeholder right here, and everything you see on this website right now is artificial intelligence. And so I'll have to go in and fix things myself. But if we're talking about Soundhound's new technology, it would be amazing if the AI just did what I want. If the AI told the AI what to do instead of me having to come in and tell the AI what to do. And even with me having to come in and tell the AI what to do, what an incredible tool that we have. What would have taken me weeks otherwise just to build all of this was done in the matter of a night. So AI is absolutely incredible what Soundhound is doing. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to say in the earnings call here in just about 35 minutes. The technology marks a fundamental shift in the role of AI from something that must be continuously built and maintained to a system that actively evolves based on real world usage. We also know that Soundhound does work with a lot of auto manufacturers and players, multiple TV and auto OEMs, integrating Soundhound's voice commerce, signed a new 7-figure commitment with prominent Japanese manufacturer to deploy Soundhound's voice assistant across vehicles globally. Wow. Working with a big Japanese manufacturer with a 7-figure commitment. That is massive right there. And then multinational OEM signed expansion in South America and signed agreement to integrate Soundhound's voice AI across Walmart's TV brand. Oh, and there we go. They are working with Walmart right there. And then we talked about this a lot with Soundhound in 2024 and some of 2025. A big reason why I am so bullish on Soundhound is because they do work with a lot of different restaurants, a lot of fast food chains. One of the ones that we talked about a lot at the end of 2024, Torchy Tacos. And so this is all about their restaurants and retail and consumer goods. Let's see, major QSR seeing growing ROI with positive results from Soundhound's drive-through technology, with AI-enabled locations generating more revenue than those not deploying the technology. So that's great. It shows that their voice technology is actually helping to bring positive results for these companies, increases cross-sell wins among restaurant solutions, and a strong uptick in the adoption of Soundhound's voice insight product, deployed AI solutions with major global fitness apparel brands representing the majority of the market share in that category. And they signed deals with a national residential and commercial service company specializing in eco-friendly indoor air quality with over 200 franchise locations, a 450 location water survival and swim school, and multiple boutique fitness chains with a total opportunity of 900 plus locations. And so there's even more here. We have technology, channel expansion, healthcare, utilities, banking. And so Soundhound is well positioned with many different companies here. We can see here, this is their first quarter 2026 financial measures. This is the 3 months end, the thousands, by the way. So when you look at these numbers right here, these are in the thousands. So think in the millions. Revenue look at that right here. Revenue in March 21 of 2026 at 44 opposed to last year at 29. Again, there's that change. That is a massive change. When you actually see the numbers right there, a 52% increase year over year. I am so proud of Soundhound, just looking at how they have done with this quarterly earnings when it comes to revenue, and then with the bullish catalysts that we got. That AI that is going to train AI is massive. Again, it looks like maybe we finally found some type of support here, at least in the short term. The sell-off starting to not become as harsh, but we got to remember these are a football game in a way. We have the two halves to the football game. So this is the first half, Soundhound getting beat up by the Bears, but we still have the second half with the guidance call, with their earnings call, and we'll have to see what they come out with this call. Overall, I am very bullish on everything that we've gotten with this initial earnings report. And then I guess people expected more is what this user says. Well, you know, Wall Street is like a spoiled brat. It's so funny. Many times companies do come out with tremendous earnings. They come out with a great earnings report in terms of their actual financials. In my opinion, we just saw that with Soundhound. And then many times they even have great catalysts, great guidance for the future, but Wall Street can be a spoiled brat. Again, there's a high short interest on this. So some of the shorts are just eating, but I would not be long-term short on this, because if we do start to see some bullish momentum within Soundhound, a lot of those shorts can really get squeezed. And when we do look at the history of Soundhound, it is known to squeeze shorts at many different times. We saw a lot of shorts get squeezed at the early part of 2024 and at the later part of 2025. At the end of 2024 going in to 2025, we saw a big short squeeze there. And then we saw a lot of momentum through October of last year, but then the markets overall did start to have some problems. With Soundhound, it did just bounce off a major level of support here at the bottom that we saw at the end of March. Overall, it does appear that an uptrend is forming. And right now, if we do just look at this trend, and I wish Robinhood would immediately update these candles, but I guess since this is technically the after hours, we'll see this candle into tomorrow. But if we do look at this trend that we have going right now, Soundhound at $8.63, slightly still at the bottom of this trend. So technically, if we were to draw out the candlesticks that we just saw in terms of price action, we are right here. So we are still in this trend with lower highs and higher lows being formed. And again, I am very bullish on Soundhound. I like everything that we just read with this quarterly earnings. I look forward to seeing this call, which will be in just 30 minutes. And then what a day, gang. What a day, dang. I got beat up by AMPX, 20% down on pretty good earnings, and Soundhound down too. Let's just buy the dip again. LOL, load up. I have my buy the dip hat somewhere. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to grab that. Buy the dip. Buy the dip. Oh man, and as always, guys, I thank you all so much for joining me. I have so much fun. I never feel more live than when I go live. Look at that, buy the dip. I'm wearing the shades because I have some eye irritation, but we could say that I'm wearing the shades because all of our futures are so bright. But I always enjoy doing these live streams. And my perception, again, Soundhound did do exactly what I was expecting in terms of the financials. They once again came out with a great quarterly beat on Wall Street's expectations. Their guidance coming up for quarter two looks tremendous. And again, Soundhound does sound like they just released some really groundbreaking technology when it comes to artificial intelligence. And so artificial intelligence is amazing. There's a lot of use case scenarios for AI. And now that Soundhound is coming out with an AI that can train that AI, that is big right there. Soundhound, again, has seemed to find a support here at this level at $8.23. And so Soundhound bouncing up once again. Maybe some are buying the dip. I have some options contracts on Soundhound, so I am well positioned in Soundhound with some leverage on my portfolio. And I am excited to see if Soundhound can break out of this downwards trend that we just saw. But really, with this small recovery that we just saw in terms of a day chart, it does appear that we've dropped. We fell in significantly on the RSI, and it does appear that we could see a bullish reversal on that MACD. We'll just have to see what Soundhound does say in their guidance call, which we will be here for. This is going to be in 27 minutes, so stick around for that. I look forward to seeing what the insiders say. And then to your comment here, Ollie, also Ollie, thank you for joining us in the live stream today. Yeah, so often we will see companies report earnings, even great earnings, but they still get sold off in the short term. But if anything, it is a blessing, and this is a buy the dip opportunity, in my opinion, if you are going long on Soundhound. It's insane to think that we have a 38% short interest on Soundhound. Now, we've had a decently high short interest for a while within Soundhound, and for those that were shorting at higher levels, they could have been eaten up well, but now we have been beaten down so much. I would be very hesitant to be short on Sound, especially with the great earnings that we just saw. And then maybe Audio Call will tell all the cool stuff that they did and plan to do, and then it could boom. Yes, hopefully so. And then Ketz, let's go Trevor, and then let's go You're the Man Trevor. No, you the man Ollie. Thank you for joining us once again. And then big after hours volume. Yeah, there's a lot of price action and movements going on right now. Again, we had that initial sell-off, which was just Wall Street being a spoiled brat, selling off for no reason. This company just came out with a great earnings in terms of revenue, EPS, year-over-year growth. And also, this company in the earnings report that we just saw came out with some really cool, innovative technology. And then another earnings report, another plunge, just like PLTR. Eric, thank you for joining us in the live stream today. Another moderator on this channel. For everyone who is here with a wrench in your name, just know, guys, that I am not going to be giving these out forever. Everyone who has a wrench on this channel, you guys earned it for being the OGs of this channel, being here during the early days of Green Money Momentum. We just built the website, and there is going to be so much more. I also just recently signed back into my Twitter account. So if you guys want to see me on Twitter, we have a Twitter, which is the Green Money Man. So you can go follow me on X/Twitter. Green Money Man is my name. I plan on doing a little bit more on Twitter, but mainly I'm going to be focusing on building out that website. The stock price will recover rapidly. Yeah, again, that is why I would say that buying the dip, again, never financial advice, just my opinion, but buying the dip is not the worst thing to do right now. Just like PTLR, Croissant agrees, buy this dip. It seems like a battleground at the moment, but shorts will eventually fade away. Well, again, not only did they just announce this amazing tool, but they also did just announce that they have this big acquisition of Live Person, possibly some short-term dilution. The company may need to issue more shares for this to be the case. Nothing that I've seen in the earnings report that has said that yet, but there could be that possibility for short-term fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But overall, having Live Person does look like another great thing that the insiders at Soundhound has done. So Soundhound basically now live person, and this is huge because this is kind of like texting on websites. We've all seen this before where we go on a website and then we could see the AI assistant. So Soundhound now in the sound artificial intelligence, but also with this digital artificial intelligence as well. Let's just look at the pricing here. Simple pricing, minimal add-ons, no service fees. Looks like you could request a quote, but this is some of the things that you can get, and that is again massive. I'm overall very bullish on everything that we just saw with this earnings report. Eric says even the Soundhound RR partnership had RR stock tank today. Go figure. Let's take a look at Rich Tech Robotics, see how Rich Tech is looking right now. Rich Tech is at 266. Well, I would not consider that to be too much of a crash. Really, where I have circled here, that is where the big crash was. That was when there was supposed to be that partnership with Microsoft, with Rich Tech Robotics that did not pan out. Then we saw that company take the opportunity to dilute, and then we saw the stock price drop after that. Eye irritation, it's 420, dude. You're so funny. It's 420 where you are at, Eric. Where I'm at, it is 1:30, but you are hilarious, Eric. I hope that you are celebrating the time zone by doing something fun. Aggressive dip buying, is that what you are doing, Eric? Everybody introducing themselves. What's up, player? Every day I'm hustling, hustling, hustling. Every day I'm hustling, hustling, hustling. Sound short squeeze still possible. Hey, Chuck, I think this is your first time ever being here in the live stream. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, it might be possible. We'll just have to see. Right now, we're getting a little bit of price action back and forth between the bulls and the bears, currently down by 8% at $8.50. We were seeing a run up shortly before this. Soundhound went all the way to $9.70. In my opinion, this is an unjust sell-off. Just another typical classic moment with Wall Street, because overall the earnings did just come out as great. Maybe a little bit of a sell-off from anticipation of dilution, maybe them saying something like that in the earnings call, but nothing that I saw with the actual earnings report. So far, I have just seen positives from what was just released. A big acquisition of this company, Live Person, and then also their big AI tool that they just created, which is supposed to be training other AI. So that is massive. And then yes, a short squeeze can happen at any moment going forward. This is exactly why I am long on Soundhound AI. I am not too concerned by the short-term movements. Again, just looking at gamma exposure, this is where the expected movements can be for this week's weekly expiration. There is a lot of put volume right under $8.50, 8 and then 7. Also a lot of call volume around 11 to 10.50 and 10, but the bears may get their way. The bears are fighting hard. There is about a 38% short interest in Soundhound AI, but if the shorts were really to crush the stock, I think that we would have dropped well below those levels. So far, this has not been too bad. Again, these are always a two-half scenario. So you get the first half, the second half. There is always the possibility that we do get more of a sell-off with the official earnings call. But again, I am not too concerned about the short-term movements. I do have some contracts out with Soundhound that go far out into the future. I do like what we just saw with this earnings report right here. So overall, I am very bullish on Soundhound, still very bullish with what we got with this earnings report right here. Again, beating on those expectations. And then Eric says Kraken Robotics earnings are excellent. New contract announcements and new memorandum signed, same results. Shares have been dropping on analyst concerns about high valuation. Well, Eric, I know you're a big fan of Kraken Robotics, so let's take a look at Kraken Robotics and see how the stock has been performing here. Looks like it is down for the month by about 14%. Overall, still looking very bullish year to date and for the last year. I know you're a big fan of this company, Eric. You actually got me into Charles Schwab, so I can purchase some Kraken Robotics. And again, new contract announcements, that's excellent for the company. And then that being signed, that is also excellent. But again, this is Wall Street for you. So often you will see great earnings and then you will still see a sell-off with these companies. But again, if they are reporting, great earnings, if they are reporting great long-term catalysts, well, I would say just a little bit of patience is needed. We talk a lot about the financial news and media and how they are so negative and how they are always trying to get people to sell out of their stocks, talking about everything that is so horrible in the short term, really focusing on the next candle. But then you look at the wall of worry and you look at what stocks have done over time, and those time periods where the bears do take control of the markets end up really being null and forgotten with what comes up in the future. Look at this right here. The NASDAQ slip as oil rises. AI trade takes a breather. They're talking about these things taking a breather here with the financial news and media. And there's always negativity, there's a disconnect between stock market valuations and, this is just typing in stock market here. Stock market down. Stock rises, stocks are exuberant, bonds are subdued. Why the divergence? Market rebound, why some stocks are looking past the Iran war. Wow, that's funny. That's from CNN, and that's actually a positive article. But like we've talked about this, like if you just type in Kevin Warsh, which I expect to be very bullish for the markets, look at how negative the financial news and media is on this. There's no chance Warsh will be able to get the Fed to cut rates. Do you say Wash or Warsh? That's funny. Warsh would be wise to listen to Fed dissenters. 5 suggestions for Fed Warsh. Warsh reports more than 100 million in assets ahead of hearing. Powell speaks after Fed holds rates with dissents. So there's just a lot of like financial news and media that is constantly negative. And it's like with these earnings reports, many times people get their emotions really involved in these because, again, it is quite thrash, right? It happens so quick. Your company sees a big, sell off all of the sudden or a big rip up. I mean, it happens so quick that really, unless you're one of the insiders, you really can't predict what will happen. And again, it's a lot of algorithmic bots which are doing this. But again, I am not concerned. Like Robinhood earnings, we recently went through. Robinhood actually reported some great earnings, but we saw a hard sell-off, and we still have yet to see Robinhood totally recover. But if you were a part of this earnings, which was, I think, last week, I mean, everything in the earnings report was tremendous, in my opinion, for their actual growth as a company, doing tremendous things overall, and then for their guidance for the future was also great. But Wall Street did take the opportunity to sell on Robinhood. So I'm not too concerned about what we are seeing with Soundhound right now. Again, a 2.5 game in 17 minutes. Crazy how quick time is flying. We're going to have Soundhound in the official earnings call, which I have signed up for. So we're going to see this here. That's where the insiders are going to talk about guidance and everything like that. And then Eric, what would be a good entry? Eric will say to that, I'm buying the dip every week. Well, that's awesome. Did a little swing trade here this morning for a 400 profit and got back into SOUN at a lower price. Now we wait for a short squeeze. Again, this company right here has a very small market cap at just $4 billion. A lot of great results that Soundhound has been releasing. Again, in my perception, another great earnings in terms of the financials, also with the catalysts that we see here, the AI that can train the AI, that is massive. And again, a 38% short interest. Once the squeeze really gets started, it can get crazy. We've seen Soundhound in the past squeeze all the way from a price of around $7 all the way up to 24 at one point, just showing how much of a squeeze can occur within Soundhound. And then real quick, guys, before we get to the official earnings, we're going to take a second here. We're going to do a quick commercial break. So let me come up with something here for you guys to watch here in the short term. Again, I scrambled to get to the computer today. I was a couple minutes late to this. So I scrambled. So I just need to get a quick drink of water, get my water here on the side. I'm going to find some type of video here for you guys to react to, maybe something artificial intelligence or something like that. I mean, it has been a crazy day, a very busy day for me overall. Soundhound has too much going for it to be sub $10. I do agree. Soundhound is a tremendous company. I have a lot of faith within Soundhound AI. Very excited for Soundhound AI, and I am not buying what Wall Street is selling right now, which is the sell-off within Soundhound AI. And just pardon me for a second, guys. I'm just trying to come up with some type of video for you guys to watch here. Usually I'm a little bit more planned for these live streams, but again, such a busy day overall. I hope you all are having a tremendous day. overall. It has been a pretty good day for me. I do enjoy to be busy, so being busy is always a good thing. And then I thought BBAI would try to cover the 450 options. Now I think not. Well, again, I believe that, you know, the main level of gamma exposure right around 4, there is some call volume around 450 and higher, but what the dealers want, those who create the options for all of us retail to buy, is they want as much panic, as much pain as possible. It's a term called max pain, where they want to see as many options contracts expire worthless as possible. That is the main goal. So there's a lot of exposure right around 4, and then a lot of call volume right around 450. But there are a lot of calls around 4, and then a lot of puts right at 4 as well, and then 350. So I could see $4 being the main price magnet here. And man, I am struggling to find something here for a commercial break for you guys to watch. I'm trying to think of something funny. I'm just not getting anything here on my YouTube timeline. Nothing here that looks too entertaining here in the short term. Oh man, this is what you get. This is real green money momentum. See, this is real GMM right here. This is what you get when you get a real guy who is busy. You get these moments right here. But we are getting close to that official earnings, which is going to be here in about 13 minutes. By the way, Max Payne, terrible movie. That is funny. Yeah, I agree. Max Payne was a trash movie. That's a good suggestion. Maybe we could watch an old movie clip from something. Gosh, guys, I just need to get a drink of water, but I want to give you guys something to be entertained with while I am gone. Who is buying the dip, by the way, on a Soundhound AI? And then not even a B movie. Oh, okay. I think you gave me something to look up here that I think will be entertaining. Let me see. I'll keep it a secret until I get it up here. This is a funny movie. If you guys have ever seen this, this was created so many years ago on Netflix. So this was like an indie original that then got put up on Netflix. I remember watching this with my dad. This is 15 years ago this was created, so I must have been 13 at the time. Such a goofy movie. This is a movie about a tire. So this is like first person perception of a tire. So I'm going to let this run real quick. If you're just joining us, we are going to be listening to Soundhound's live earnings call here in about 20 minutes, but in about 12 minutes, actually, I just got to get some water. So somebody might be joining this. They're going to see a video of a tire moving around. They're going to be like, what the hell is going on? And then get your drink of water. We can chat with each other while you're gone. All right, guys, I will be right back. Enjoy this movie trailer. Let me just make sure that you guys got the audio. Many times I forget to put the official audio on. I want to make sure you guys get your audio. So this is the Rubber trailer. This was on Netflix about 15 years ago. I don't know if it still is, but enjoy while I'm away. I'll see you guys here in about 2 minutes.
Everybody, this is what our killer looks like.
Tire.
What brand of tire?
Probably brandless. Yes.
Is it black?
I'm starting to like it.
Door just open.
Come on, be a good boy. Blow my head off.
Again.
Come on, closer. get one of you guys with a flamethrower. Just whoa.
Anybody there? Weirdos.
So go check out that movie if you haven't already. That would be funny if somebody just joined in the live stream and that's what they joined to, seeing a killer tire. Yeah, who in the hell would have thought that we'd be here for a Soundhound AI earnings and then you're getting to watch a movie about a movie trailer about a killer tire, right? But that's what you get with green money momentum. You never know what you'll get in one of these lives. So as always, guys, I appreciate you for joining me on the live stream today. We're going to get the official earnings call here with Soundhound in just a couple minutes. So just 8 minutes from now, let me know if you guys want to see me break down any tickers just while we are waiting for that official earnings here in about 8 minutes. And then in my opinion, the institutions are just playing mind games with the price action on Sound. Yeah, again, I'm not too concerned. I mean, again, just looking at the main levels of gamma, and again, also with earnings reports, it is always expected that there is going to be volatility. You know, I would not be surprised if we get another sell-off with the guidance call shortly after, but there is a ton of short interest. So, of course, that's what the institutions want. They want to see you sell out of your Soundhound AI. But as I've been saying most recently, I do believe that there is a rotation overall that is going back into technology right now, led by the semiconductor plays. So despite seeing a bit of a sell-off today in, technology overall, there is still a rotation, in my opinion, going into this sector. So with Soundhound AI, a small cap AI play, and again, with what they just said about the AI that can train the AI, in my opinion, that is massive, and that adds even more value to Soundhound AI. So I'm not too concerned about this. A buy the dip opportunity. If anything, I would agree with you, 2 wheels, and then force out weak hands, or as they call them on Wall Street bets, paper hands, hunt for stop losses, pick up cheap shares. Yeah, again, right now under a price of $10, I am not at all concerned. I do consider this to be a great opportunity. I made a ton of profits back at the end of 2024 when Sound ran from 4 to 7 all the way up to 20. Made some profits during the second half of the run that we got in 2025. Not as much as I did during this first euphoric rise, but now I am well positioned in Soundhound, and I believe there's going to be a lot of share chasing as we start to get to higher levels. We've seen in the past there is a lot of support and resistance right where this gap is, which sits right around $13, and then it was sitting between 13 and 17 for a long time. So there is a lot of energy within Soundhound AI. And then super break clip, so funny. Yeah, go watch that movie. I watched it when I was like 13, and literally me and my dad were just he just picked out this random clip, and it was just that random movie, and it was just so funny. And that was pre-AI. We're talking about AI, Soundhound AI. Now we're talking about AI being able to train AI. Well, back then that was pre-artificial intelligence. And so if someone creates a movie like Rubber now, I'm sure they could just use AI to do everything. Back then it had to be real actors. Someone really had to get that tire moving. They probably had to keep kicking it down the road and doing things such as that. And then I had 6 kids, so I never saw Rubber. That is a classic, Eric. Wow, you are the father of 6. That is amazing, my friend. Hey, I'll brag a little bit about myself. I've always had a tremendous pullout game, as they say, pulling out of assets when they're at a top and pulling out during times when needed. So right now I have no children, but I do look forward to having some kids in the future. And whenever I do, we're always going to be talking about derivatives and the stock market and, dividends and so on and so on. My kid will be, 5 years old talking about, Daddy, I'm playing soccer. Look at me kick the ball. And I'll be like, oh, you're kicking the ball kind of like how the government continues to kick the can down the road alongside the Federal Reserve. And then me and my son or daughter will start talking about the Fed for the next 30 minutes. I'll have them well educated when it comes to finances. And then ONDS. I heard that ONDS, unfortunately, either did have some dilution or recently did dilute. I'm not sure which it is, but ONDS looking like it's having a hard time here in the short term. We've talked a little bit about Ondas. I know this is a drone company. Overall, the momentum does look bullish. So even if there was a little bit of dilution, overall, this is looking pretty bullish on a decent uptrend, still above the 200-day MA and then fighting right alongside the 50-day moving average. I just want to make sure I don't miss this earnings call right here. Okay, so it's live. Look at that beautiful music. I don't know if you guys could hear it. Anyway, going back to ONDS, when is Ondas's next earnings? Did they just recently report earnings, or do they have one coming up? So Ondas is going to be reporting in 7 days, expected to have a massive quarterly at 39 million. In terms of technical analysis, let's refresh this so it doesn't look as crazy there. In terms of technical analysis, right in the middle on everything. So it looks like it might be a 50-50 going in to that earnings report, but another play which is a small cap and overall 4.4 billion. I'd be curious to see what the short interest on ONDS is. Do they also have a decently high short interest? What are they at? They're at 33%. Wow, so a decently high short interest. Maybe have to look at picking some of that soon. Oh man, look at that beautiful price. Oh, it just got updated, 944 to 873. But hey, 873 is not too bad for Soundhound. We've already gained back a lot of what we lost with that initial sell-off. We saw Soundhound at one point with the sell-off go right down to this level right here. It was right at the low 8s. What is this green line that I have drawn out? Oh, that's the line of support. Look at that. It fell right down to that support there. Interesting. Or yeah. Oh, never mind. That is actually the ascending trend. Okay, there we go. It fell down to that support. We were talking about how, this is right within this. So it looks like with the initial sell-off, again, it went right into this wedge here. So it came down to this, and now we are getting a bounce off of that. So we're still within that trend. Wow, lines are going crazy here. Hold up. We are still technically in this trend, seeing some recovery there. So that's what Soundhound looks like right now, still with a higher lows and lower highs being created. And then what's up, player? Hey, player, what's up? IGV had a breakout today. Let's take a look at IGV. We are minutes away from the official earnings call, by the way. So at 1:58, as always, we'll listen to that, see what they have to say, and then right after that, I'll do my breakdown and tell you guys what I thought with that official earnings. Wow, they did have a decent breakout at $90 right now, and then I hope you took some profits, which are, you might be referring to someone in the chat or to me. I'm not too sure, Eric. I did not take any profits before this earnings call with Soundhound. I have a lot of options contracts on Soundhound, and so, I could have taken the opportunity to take some profits. I thought about thinning out, but these go far out into the future. And overall, I'm very bullish on the markets and Soundhound for this second half of the year. Chrison the mom wants Applied Digital. I do have some Applied Digital, and also Applied Digital is looking fantastic. I've seen you in the comment sections. I know that you beat yourself up sometimes for not taking profits on the swings with Applied Digital. But again, as far as I know your position with what you told me, you bought these back. I think you said either in 2024 or in 2025, you've been holding them for 9 to 10 months. Well, you've been through a lot of the volatility already, and if you haven't sold, I would say just to continue to hold. This is another tremendous company right now. Applied Digital at $42. I could see this being double, triple, quadruple, 10x what it is right now in the future. Still in some phases of still having a lot of those data centers being built out, but this company already earning a great amount. So they are providing great core. Put here, give me a second here. I'm going to put here the audio for this. So give me 1 second. I want to get the audio for you guys once we're officially here for this earnings report. Oh, gosh, give me a second. Okay, so we'll have audio here once they officially go live. And what did they say about a AI that could train an AI? Sam, go back in the live if you want to see that. Just go back, scroll back to when we read it. They have an AI system that's basically going to be training the other AI. Take away the human case scenario in it. Self-learning AI, that's the best way to put it. That's awesome. Raising Arizona is a good one. Laughing emojis, LMAO. As Sezzle had great boom like predicted. Great to hear, my friend. Price range for Soundhound by the end of the year. That's a good question. You know what's crazy? Back in 2024, I called when Soundhound went from 4. I said it could go to 20. This year,
being recorded.
45.
I would now like to hand the conference over to your first speaker today, Scott Smith, Head of Investor Relations. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining our first quarter 2026 conference call. With me today is our CEO and co-founder, Keyvan Mohajer, our CFO and co-founder, James Hom, and our COO, Mike Zagorsek. We will begin with some short remarks before moving to Q&A. We'd also like to remind everyone that we'll be making forward-looking statements on this call. Actual results could differ materially from those suggested by our forward-looking statements. Please refer to our filings with the SEC for a detailed discussion of the risks and uncertainties that could affect our business, and for a discussion of the statements that qualify as forward-looking statements. In addition, we may discuss certain non-GAAP measures. Please refer to today's press release for more detailed financial results and further details on the definitions, limitations, and uses of those measures and reconciliations from GAAP to non-GAAP. Also note that the forward-looking statements on this call are based on information available to us as of today's date. We undertake no obligation to update any forward-looking statements except as required by law. Finally, this call is being audio webcast in its entirety on our investor relations website. An audio replay will be available following today's call. With that, I'd like to turn the call over to our CEO, Keyvan Mohajer. Please go ahead, Keyvan.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you everyone for joining the call today. Soundhound started the year strong with top-line growth exceeding 50%, and excluding the impact of all acquisitions, our automotive and IoT AI business was up 88% year over year. Overall, we are seeing increased demand for our AI and our enterprise solutions, and this is reflected in the massive pipeline we continue to build. 2 weeks ago, we announced we entered into a definitive agreement for the acquisition of LivePerson, a digital messaging pioneer and a leader in the conversational AI space, serving hundreds of enterprise and mid-market customers. The combined company will work with enterprise customers across more than 30 countries, including 12 of the top 15 global banks, 4 of the top 5 global airlines, 4 of the top 5 global automakers, and 10 leading global telecommunications providers. This accumulative customer base includes 25 of the Fortune 100 companies. We expect the deal to close in the second half of the year, marking our 5th strategic acquisition, while continuing a disciplined and deliberate approach to developing a full-service enterprise AI business. With the addition of LivePerson, Soundhound will have over 120 years of combined customer relationships and enterprise integrations, as well as data from tens of billions of real-world interactions. We now have a proven track record when it comes to M&A, a repeatable formula of turning pre-merger decline to post-merger growth by taking complementary business models and technology stacks and integrating them with Soundhound's own to emerge together as a formidable force in conversational and agentic AI. Our first acquisition has undergone a complete turnaround in under 2 years and is on the path of continuous growth. And while we are less than 12 months into our latest acquisition, we are already seeing an acceleration in that pace, with this portion of our business beating its Q1 revenue forecast. Our process is getting faster and more efficient, and we are ready to deliver another success story with LivePerson. With all of these companies, we've identified a common thread to bring success and a substantial return on investment for our stakeholders. They are great businesses. Each one has amazing teams, incredible solutions, and has built strong customer relationships. In each case, synergies with our highly focused pillars of our business were clear, and Soundhound was able to give them the resources and the collaboration they needed to thrive. We believe that LivePerson can be a transformational turnaround opportunity. Upon closing the acquisition, Soundhound will immediately seek to address the 3 critical areas required by their customers. First is strengthening their financial status. Second is accelerating the modernization of their platform. And third is delivering faster innovation. In addition, one of the most frequently requested capabilities from LivePerson's customer base is voice AI, which Soundhound can offer immediately. By offering Soundhound voice AI to LivePerson customers and the unified digital and voice omnichannel solution to Soundhound customers, is expected to reach $500 million based on the existing customer base alone. And with all of our combined businesses, we continue to harvest cost synergies and revenue synergies with cross-selling and upselling. While acquisition is not a requirement for our success, It provides a strategic opportunity for Soundhound to accelerate the expansion of our customer base, bring advanced and additive capabilities to our platform, and to further scale and accelerate the trajectory of our leadership position. Moves like this are a key piece of a much larger vision for Soundhound. And turning specifically to the technical synergies arising from our acquisitions, I want to comment on our big news earlier in the week. For those who may have missed the headlines, on Tuesday we officially announced Oasis, our orchestrated agent system. This category-leading platform breaks away from old static build and deploy models that requires businesses to dedicate considerable resources to constant time-consuming maintenance. With Oasis, AI itself can build entire fleets of AI agents in minutes based on existing documentation and integrations, and those agents will autonomously and continuously refine themselves. What once took businesses months can now take just minutes, significantly lower their operational costs. Like the human brain, Oasis continues to get better the more it is used and is intelligent enough to take the initiative, evaluating performance gaps, and then proactively suggesting and building fixes for its human operators to approve. But Oasis isn't just about efficiency gains, it's also about opportunity. A business can use the platform to build an AI agent once and deploy it anywhere, across phone, text, web chats, in-store kiosks, social media, TVs, and in-vehicle. The channel diversity Soundhound offers is unmatched by competitors in the space and will truly allow brands to redefine where and how they interact with their customers. This is truly a platform built for a new era. AI agents will traverse digital and physical spaces, handling complex customer contact center inquiries, reducing the need for human escalation enhanced by continuously improving AI agents trained on historical data and built by AI, managing workflows like prescription refills or IT service requests, offering real-time assistance to employees on the retail sales floor, executing transactions in the vehicle like ordering coffee on the road, providing outbound customer outreach with personalized offers and incentives based on the customer data, handling orders in high-volume sales environments like the drive-thru, and solving disputes for customer service contact centers, turning complaints into opportunities. Oasis is a platform that unites Soundhound's core technology with the collective strength of our various acquisitions to deliver one unified engine. This marks an important evolution for who we are as a business, moving to a single, powerful agentic AI ecosystem. Oasis serves as the orchestration and intelligence layer that allows our customers to move beyond deploying individual Soundhound products toward a more integrated and user-friendly experience. To understand how powerful this new platform will be for businesses, it's helpful to understand the kind of ROI our current platform is delivering for global enterprise clients. One Fortune 100 insurance company was able to achieve over $10 million in quarterly labor savings. For that same customer, our AI successfully served over 21 million customers, fully automating a significant portion of those interactions, while maintaining over 96% routing accuracy. Additionally, our agents processed over 1 million financial transactions and generated more than $5 million in savings through enhanced customer self-service. Unsurprisingly, this customer has already been testing our new Oasis platform in beta, alongside a number of our large enterprise customers. As another example of undeniable value creation, one of our QSR customers conducted a careful analysis and reported that drive-through locations deploying our voice AI solutions are generating greater revenue than comparable locations that don't use Soundhound technology. Our AI is functioning as a powerful efficiency tool for operators and their employees, allowing them to deliver fast, accurate service, a vital advantage in today's challenging macroeconomic environment where every transaction matters. You can see we are driving measurable value for our clients and their end users alike. While our acquisitions have provided the opportunity for significant cost synergies, I also want to talk about where we are making the right and responsible investments. Oasis will be powered by Polaris, Soundhound's own speech foundation model that consistently beats big tech competitors in accuracy and performance by a large margin. We now see further opportunity to take our foundation model to the next level and include specialized LLMs and speech synthesis with a level of quality beyond state of the art. As a result, Oasis at runtime does not need to depend on any third-party frontier models. Every interaction can be powered by Soundhound's own models, giving us higher quality, more control, and significant cost savings. Of course, when necessary or required by a customer, Oasis can orchestrate across any model, and our customers can continue to have the benefit of flexibility. But we expect for the majority of cases, Oasis will utilize Soundhound's own models. This is the right time for us to be making this investment for the following reasons. First, due to our years of R&D and data accumulation, this is a contained and responsible investment. Unlike some companies that are throwing billions to avoid missing out, we know what we are doing. We know our training recipe, we have the data, and our models will be specialized for what they will be used for. Importantly, we believe that models that handle a customer service inquiry don't need to also solve quantum physics problems or answer history questions in haiku. We will create models that have the right parameters to outperform the frontier models at a lower cost for their target applications, like resolving customer queries, processing orders, refilling prescriptions, or executing card transactions. Second, we have reached a scale that makes this investment a clear winner. Once the traffic from our various acquisitions migrates to Oasis and upgrades to Agentic, the cost saving of avoiding frontier models at runtime will be far more than the investment to create this independence within a short span of time. This is a contained and calculated investment expected to be less than 1% of our market cap this year and time-bounded. We expect it will pay off by an order of magnitude in cost savings for Soundhound, and even more so in value creation, as it will elevate Soundhound's standing as a pure-play AI company with a full stack of models for the growing number of industries we serve. That brings me to Q1, which saw a number of strong deals across a number of those industries. Across automotive and IoT, we signed a new seven-figure commitment with a prominent Japanese auto manufacturer to deploy our voice assistant across vehicles globally. We also expanded into South America with a prominent multinational OEM and signed an agreement to integrate Soundhound's voice AI into Walmart's TV brand ON. And we continue to make progress with voice commerce as multiple TV and well-known automotive brands integrate our first-of-its-kind solution. Q1 also saw strong traction across large restaurant, retail, and consumer brands. A major QSR reported growing ROI from Soundhound's drive-thru technology, with AI-enabled locations consistently generating more revenue than those without our AI technology. Also in restaurants, we are seeing an increase in cross-sell wins and a strong uptick in the adoption of Soundhound Voice Insights product, which provides operators with deep and valuable analysis of customer interactions and staff responses. In consumer enterprise, we've now deployed AI solutions with 3 major global fitness apparel brands, representing the majority of market share in that category. And in retail, we signed deals with a national residential and commercial service company, a large swim school, and multiple boutique fitness chains, with a total opportunity to deploy our AI solutions in approximately 1,600 locations. We also signed deals across a diverse number of verticals, such as banking, financial services, insurance, utilities, energy, telecommunications, healthcare, pharmaceutical, life sciences, technology, software, and IT services. They included one of the largest insurance companies in the US and a Fortune 100 company representing an 8-figure deal. One of the world's largest banks that serves millions of customers in over 100 global markets. One of the largest technology companies in the world expanding services into Europe. A New York-based global financial services platform company. An American multinational financial services corporation headquartered in Denver, Colorado. A multinational conglomerate that offers a number of products and services across its multiple business groups. A top 10 US credit union. A major insurance corporation headquartered in Texas and operating in all 50 states. 2 electricity providers headquartered in Texas and Kansas, respectively, both serving residential and business customers. A large telecommunications provider supporting customers in 25 states. A specialized US healthcare organization operating in multiple states. Allina Health, a healthcare provider with over 90 clinics, 12 hospital campuses, and 13 retail pharmacies. A large US-based healthcare network specializing in medical, surgical, and cosmetic dermatology, operating across 14 states in over 150 locations. a Japanese multinational company operating across sectors including energy, digital systems, mobility, and industrial infrastructure. And with our channel partners, we continue to expand our ecosystem. We announced a breakthrough partnership with Manpower Group, working with them on their strategy to bring AI agent capabilities to market. We agreed to a partnership with an American multinational corporation that designs, builds, and manages infrastructure services. And we added new business with the following: a leading global IT services and consulting company providing digital transformation, AI, and cloud computing solutions. One of the largest information technology services and consulting companies in the world, headquartered in France. And a Japanese headquartered company that offers IT services, system integration, cloud computing, and information security. In short, we are seeing great traction because our technology is delivering real value across a wide range of verticals. And with the planned acquisition of LivePerson, we expect our customer base to expand further. LivePerson brings hundreds of long-tenured enterprise relationships, many spanning over a decade, adding to our expanding customer roster, which includes thousands of restaurants, leading global automakers, and enterprise customers across financial services, healthcare, insurance, energy, and retail. Combined with LivePerson, we will have one of the most comprehensive customer footprints in the conversational AI sector. In closing, we had a strong start to 2026. This is happening because our disruptive technology, breakthrough innovation, and hyper-responsiveness to customers is resonating, and we continue to scale across our broadening enterprise portfolio. We are growing our top line. We are making the right investments with clear ROI while exploring cost synergies. We are innovating faster than ever. And most importantly, we are giving our customers what they want, thanks to our years of experience, relationships, integrations, and data. We are excited about the planned acquisition of LivePerson and the synergies that the two companies can bring to market. The momentum in our space continues to accelerate, and we are being proactive and leading the charge to go after further market share gains. With that, I'll now turn the call over to my co-founder, James, to talk about our financial performance, key growth drivers, and business outlook.
Thank you, Keyvan, and good afternoon, everyone. In Q1, we had $44.2 million in revenue, up 52% year over year. Each quarter that passes is another mile marker on our journey, and our pace is increasing at every turn. Innovation and disruption in our industry is not showing any signs of slowing down, and Soundhound continues to pioneer new breakthroughs. We orchestrate and arbitrate a comprehensive array of models, and this enables us to build new agentic and voice AI solutions that deliver the best possible outcomes for our customers. And now, with our unified platform Oasis, we have just taken an important step forward in advancing our leadership position. The technological differentiation, breadth of coverage and capabilities, and scalable infrastructure position us well for continued market and mindshare capture. Our Q1 was heavy on enterprise momentum across financial services and automotive, as well as healthcare, restaurants, and technology, which also made strong contributions. The driving force behind this growth continues to be the high usage of our product and solutions. With that, let me discuss the first quarter financial results in more detail. As I mentioned earlier, Q1 revenue was $44.2 million, up 52% year over year. The growth was driven across multiple verticals, led by financial services and automotive. And our broad-based expansion once again enabled us to realize strong customer diversification, with no customers contributing greater than 10% of our revenues for the quarter. Our enterprise AI business performed particularly well and continued to be the largest contributor to revenue. In automotive, we doubled the number of units committed with the prominent Japanese manufacturer, and while we continue to accelerate our Asia business, we also saw a new expansion in the Latin American market. Our restaurant business also contributed, highlighting upsell and cross-sell among solutions, as well as an uptick in voice insights adoption. In Q1, our GAAP gross margin was 31%, and adjusted for non-cash amortization of purchased intangibles and employee stock compensation, our non-GAAP gross margin was 50%. The decrease this quarter was in part due to some true-up costs of third-party expenses from a vendor we use for our digital-first business. These costs will not recur in future periods, and without them, margins would have improved year over year. We also continue to drive efficiencies by modernizing infrastructure, optimizing cloud spend, consolidating legacy systems, and improving the efficiency of our core platforms, including shifting from third-party solutions to our own in-house ones. R&D expenses were $26.2 million in Q1, up 6% year over year, largely due to acquisitions and related headcount and development costs. Sales and marketing expenses were $19.2 million in Q1, reflecting a 60% year-over-year increase, primarily driven by acquisitions. Outside of that, the bulk of our investments here continue to be go-to-market efforts via direct and indirect sales, as well as customer success to increase retention. We continue to elevate our brand and market presence to generate demand and convert more opportunities into pipeline. G&A expenses were $25.7 million in Q1, reflecting a 39% year-over-year increase, primarily driven by various legal, advisory, and other costs related to our acquisitions. We also saw headcount increases from acquisitions, but also added additional resources to support necessary functions as we continue to grow. Q1 expenses included several non-recurring charges. As we shared in prior quarters, we have identified cost synergies as a result of our acquisitions, and we took several steps to achieve them in Q1, the impact of which will be realized in the next 2 quarters, with more synergies still being explored. Therefore, we expect recurring costs to generally improve this year. That said, as Kayvon mentioned, we are making calculated and time-bound investments this year in our foundation models with a clear and near-term ROI expected. We predict that this investment will temporarily offset our cost actions. The two together will keep our expenses at an appropriate level. Basically, we are reducing expenses in many areas and channeling the savings to the appropriate investment opportunities with a clear ROI. We had non-cash employee stock compensation of $20 million and depreciation and amortization, including the amortization of intangibles, of $10 million in Q1, all of which are included in our GAAP results. Adjusted EBITDA was a loss of $26.7 million. GAAP net loss of $25 million and GAAP net loss per share of 6 cents were impacted by the change in fair value of contingent liabilities of approximately $39 million. This relates to the acquisitions we have completed and is a non-operating and non-cash expense, and primarily reflects the quarter-on-quarter fluctuations in our stock price. As such, this item has been excluded from our non-GAAP results. Non-GAAP net loss was $26.6 million, and non-GAAP net loss per share was 6 cents in the quarter. This adjusts for items such as non-cash depreciation and amortization, M&A transaction costs, and stock-based compensation. Our balance sheet remains strong, with cash and equivalents at quarter end of $216 million with no debt. With that, let me discuss our financial outlook. We started 2026 with strong momentum. Our pipeline continues to build across several verticals. We have a strong foundational customer base to expand upon through full portfolio upsell and cross-sell, and we continue to aggressively release new agentic and voice AI capabilities to dramatically improve customer outcomes. We also expect Oasis to bring game-changing synergies by unifying our products and solutions into one platform. For 2026, we still expect our revenue to be in the range of $225 million to $260 million. As in prior years, there will be a ramp in revenue through the year given the nature of our customer base, underlying seasonality, and expected large deal timing both for renewals and new deals. That said, we expect the seasonality to even out as our recurring mix of businesses continue to grow. Overall, this outlook affirms our expectation of another year of very strong growth. We are excited to have announced the LivePerson acquisition and eventually combine the teams together to bring great solutions to the market and increase value for our customers. The opportunity is large, and in 2027, assuming the acquisition closes in the second half of this year, we expect that the achievable revenue range will be at minimum $350 to $400 million, with at least $100 million of global contribution from LivePerson's long-tenured customers. And by offering our voice AI to LivePerson's customers and the unified digital and voice omnichannel solution to Soundhound's customers, the combined business is expected to reach $500 million based on the existing customer base alone. We remain committed to delivering accelerated growth while being mindful of our journey to profitability. Our strong cash position and debt-free balance sheet gives us the capacity to remain prudent in appropriately balancing growth with profit maximization. We will continue to drive scale through targeted investments and go after growth aggressively where we see opportunity and real ROI. Our mindset has always been AI first, and we weave that into everything we do. This allows us to automate our customers' complex processes and make them more human-like to better serve their customers. New opportunities are opening up before us every day, and we look forward to continuing to share those with you. With that, we will now move to Q&A.
Thank you. At this time, we will conduct the question and answer session. To ask a question, you will need to press *11 on your telephone and wait for your name to be announced. To withdraw your question, please press *11 again. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster.
So it looks like we're about to go to the Q&A.
Our first question comes from the line of Gil Luria from D.A. Davidson. Gil, your line is now open.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Wanted to ask for you to expand on the M&A strategy here. You touched on it a little bit at the outset, but I think it will help investors get into your mindset, especially as you're making larger and larger acquisitions with this particular approach. Most investors are used to technology companies, public technology companies, buying smaller, growing technology companies at high multiples, but that's not your approach. You're buying companies that you can then take, buying companies at a very attractive valuations that you can take their customers and grow from there and be selective about that, which is a very different approach. So, especially now as we're talking about live person, would you mind expanding on that? Why that's the strategy that you're embarked on, and the implications of that for you and your growth?
Hi, Gil. Thanks for the great questions, Kayvon. So first of all, we're very proud of our acquisition strategy to date, and we think we've done really well. And you're right, it's a unique strategy, and it's worked really well for us, and we are getting better at it. So we think we can do it even better and faster with live person. So Soundhound has spent 20 plus years in technology innovation, and that's an area of strength for us. So it's we haven't had the need to go pay expensive dollars for technology acquisition or teams. That is our DNA. In enterprise AI, things take time. Adoption takes time. You have to develop a relationship with brands. You have to be part of their infrastructure. You have to go through a procurement. You start small even after you win the deal, and then you scale with them. That takes time. And what we've learned is that those relationships and the time of integration and scale is just very important and very valuable. And that opened our eyes to the M&A strategy. And then as we were exploring that, we found amazing opportunities that I think are amazing for us as Soundhound, not necessarily for a lot of other buyers. We find companies that have a great team, a great business, really strong customer relationships, and they are deeply integrated with their customers with a long history. But for some reasons, they are going through some stressful situations, and the combination really unlocks the value that was kind of trapped. And it really is the collaboration between the two teams that we come together, and we give them what they need to really thrive. And it's really a collaboration between them. It's not. I wouldn't say that we are the only savior for their business. These are amazing teams. We collaborate together, and it's really amazing turnaround opportunities. Our first acquisition was just about 2 years ago. Same story, great team, great technology, great solution, great customer base, but they were declining. Within 2 years, they are on a continuous growth path. So we have completely turned them around with really strong growth. We think we can do it LivePerson. We can do it better and faster. Our last acquisition is just a few months ago, and we are already seeing signs of turnaround with them. And with LivePerson, there are 3 really important areas that we can address immediately: financial stability, faster innovation, and faster modernization of their platform. That's kind of the story kind of gets fixed overnight. Of course, we have to execute after that. I know you didn't ask, but if you exclude all of our acquisitions, our core auto and IoT business was up 88% year over year this year. So we're doing really well organically with our core business, and we are really doing a good job turning around these businesses. And with the 52% growth year over year, that included some business components that are recent and had decline in them, and we did a great job. We're very optimistic about our outlook.
Got it. So just to kind of take that forward, asking the question, oh, this acquisition had X revenue a year ago, and now it has less than X revenue this year, isn't really the right question, because you're taking businesses that are either declining or in distress, and you're being selective about what you're attaining. So with that in mind, the LivePerson, the public company, and the expectations are for them to generate $200 million of revenue this year. And I believe your statement is that you're going to retain at least 100 of that, which is to say you do plan on some attrition of that business, planned attrition of that business moving forward before you start turning it around and growing again. Is that a correct understanding of your approach to the LivePerson?
Hey, Gil, I'll take this one. It's Mike Zagorsek, Chief Operating Officer. I thought I'd jump in on the follow-up on that question. Just building on a lot of what Keyvan said. As Keyvan mentioned, this is will be our 5th acquisition. So we've built a bit of a foundation for integration, and ultimately when we step back and look at each scenario, we try to account for all the variables. So it's a combination, as you can imagine, ARR, churn rates, pipeline. So in cases where there is a marked, call it decline, we certainly factor that in. So we try to approach our path forward with the appropriate amount of conservatism. Ultimately, it's a matter of execution, right? Integrating the business, achieving new baseline of stability. And of course, we did announce our agentic platform, Oasis, 2 days ago. And of course, that is a way truly to unify a lot of Soundhound's legacy business, as well as the businesses of the companies we brought on board. So no longer does the technology stack become entrenched in the organization or even in the channel. It's a conversational AI platform where you build an agent once and it's omni-channel. And so that becomes part of our integration path. And again, as Keyvan mentioned, we approach M&A with this best of mindset, right? We combine what each company excels at. It's not one-sided. So we approach it humbly and conservatively, but with a goal for transformational turnarounds. So we've certainly started to see that. And our goal with LivePerson, it's very much the same. And so ultimately, even though we are approaching it with the appropriate sort of long-term revenue targets in mind, our goal is to always exceed those expectations while making sure that we can hit what we're putting out there.
Got it. Makes sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. As a reminder, to ask a question, you will need to press *11 on your telephone and wait for your name to be announced. Our next question comes from the line of Mike Lattimore from Northland Capital Markets. Mike, your line is now open.
Hey, hi, this is Vijay Devar for Mike Lattimore. A couple of questions. What are the best near-term prospects for Oasis? Is it Amelia base or the auto companies or the channel? Is it the new customers or versus established customers? I mean, any comments around that, please?
Yeah, this is Kayvon. I'll take this one. So we had, for example, a Fortune 100 insurance company that we had a renewal with them in Q1. It was an 8-digit size deal. They are getting great results from our agentic platform. Companies like that would be the first wave of beta users because it would make a very big impact to the quality and to the business, to their business, to our business. But so there's a wave of upgrades and migration of the existing customers, starting with the larger ones, doing it very carefully because some of these integrations have been in place for years with thousands of incremental optimizations. But all the new customers we expect will use Oasis going forward. And with Oasis, what used to take months now can be done in minutes because the concept behind Oasis is AI builds AI. So we used to have to go and take their documents, take their APIs, take their specs, and allocate resources and spend months to work with them to build. Now we provide the vision to our AI, and our AI builds the AI that can be deployed in multiple channels, in voice, in chat, in cars, and so on. Now, it's not just AI builds AI, it's also self-learning. So once it goes live, the data that comes in, all the interactions that the AI sees, it can improve itself. But it doesn't automatically improve itself because there's the concern of AI going in the wrong direction. It presents the improvements that it has designed for itself to a human operator for approval. And that is something that used to take constant maintenance with a large set of resources, now can be done automatically, again, with the human oversight to make sure we keep the AI in check. So going forward, we expect all of our customers to start using Oasis, which again, will improve the quality, it will improve the speed of delivery and the profitability.
Got it. And how many Amelia customers might migrate to agentic AI this year?
So maybe I'll step back a little bit because our new platform is Oasis. Oasis combines all the great innovations of all the companies that have come together, Soundhound, Interactions, Amelia, and others. If you look at the history of conversational AI for customer service, it was deterministic, then it was generative AI, then it was agentic, and now for us it's Oasis. And we have designed Oasis with all the great qualities that I mentioned, AI builds AI, self-learning, and so on. But we've also designed it to help us with integration of these various acquisitions because we don't want to kill the innovation that have taken place for 20 years of one acquisition in favor of another platform. We want to actually inherit all the great qualities. And we designed the infrastructure of Oasis to be able to bring all of those innovations. So I'll give you an example. Our last acquisition was Interactions. They have a patented way for human oversight of AI. When AI knows it's not able to handle a question, instead of transferring to a human, it asks a human to help it overcome that particular challenge. So we don't lose the containment completely, because usually what other companies do is they just transfer to a human, so the AI loses its value. But the way they do it is they just almost like, let me check with my supervisor. They go ask a human, what should I do in this case? And then they go back, the AI continues to handle the call. That's a very important innovation for a lot of their customers, or other customers really valuing it, that innovation is coming into Oasis. So think of Oasis as a combination of the best of Amelia, the best of Soundhound, the best of Interactions, the best of Sync3 all combined, and hopefully the best of LivePerson in the future. We expect ultimately all customers will migrate to Oasis. We are not sharing the exact number or the exact time frame, but that is the biggest priority for the company, to migrate everyone to Oasis, migrate the teams to integrate to work on Oasis, and Oasis is going to be the foundation of our technology and solution going forward.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Leo Carpio from Joseph Gunnar. Leo, your line is now open.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I just wanted to focus in terms of the competitive positioning. How are you thinking right now in terms of the competitive environment? Now you got these large language model providers that are still focusing on native voice AI and agentic capabilities. Are they still being a pressure, or are you seeing them, or are you thinking you've got a competitive mode at this point? And I've got a follow-up question.
I will categorize two types of competitors. There's the big tech players and some of the frontier model providers, and then there is this newcomers. So I'll address both and how Soundhound is positioned against both of those. What you're seeing, first of all, what you're seeing is our customers, they don't want a vendor, they need a partner, because the AI transformation, there's a mandate for AI transformation, and they don't want an API, right? They want someone that can sit with them, listen to their pain points, address the pain points, help them dream big, and help them achieve those dreams. And Soundhound absolutely does that. We pitch ourselves as a partner for the transformation, not a vendor with some documentation. So that really eliminates some of the big tech players or the frontier model providers, because that's really not their business to be a partner for all these hundreds and hundreds of enterprise customers. Sometimes they run science projects or some proof of concept, but we don't really see them as a head-to-head competitor. And then there are a number of companies that we call them Lego makers. They don't have their own technology. They are using an API for this, an API for that, a bunch of APIs and create a solution together. We win against them also in terms of quality, because Soundhound has its own foundation models, and Soundhound brings the model from all the frontier models. So we promise to bring the best solution and best model to our customers, no matter where it comes from. But for majority of the cases, it's our own models. We have our own Polaris speech foundation model. It beats the accuracy of all the other models we've tried. When we benchmark, it's 35% more accurate or more. Our customers tested, it's actually been better. Like sometimes they report 80% more accurate. So because Soundhound has a DNA of the core technology itself and is a partner to our customers, we win on technology and we win on the partnership.
I would just add, Mike, again, just one more thing to add, because I wanted to tie it into a previous question on our M&A strategy and how that actually makes us more competitive. And that's why the timing of this question is really good. Between M&A growth and customer acquisition and Oasis, what we're offering is scale, a proven level of scale. So we operate at a level of scale that is significant. It's global, it's enterprise. So customers have the confidence that we can deliver for them because we're doing it across industries and verticals. We're production tested, meaning that we actually don't just work across the phone. We work in noisy environments. We work in vehicles. We are truly omni-channel, and that presents itself distribution opportunities. So if you envision an agentic future built on Oasis, where it's a build one agent deployed anywhere, working with a company that can do it at scale in environments and across channels, omni-channel, that creates a very compelling package that isn't narrowed down to any one particular execution or industry type for a pure play AI company to be able to do all those things is resonating with customers.
Okay, and then turning to the auto units, have you been seeing any pricing pressure? I know auto company and automakers are trying to consolidate the AI vendor that they use, and just seeing if you're seeing that impact as you start gaining more share in that area.
Actually, we are seeing the opposite because so there is the pre-Gen AI solution, including the automotive business for a number of years, and they love our solution, both cloud and on the edge, and love content, all the vehicle domains for car control and so on. And then we had the Gen AI upgrade, and that was an upgrade moment. So we basically gave our customers the choice of staying with the pre-Gen AI version, with the royalties that they were paying us, or upgrade, and they pay us more for it. And it's like one of those rare moments where, in the automotive industry, we were able to increase the revenue per unit. And then we kept the force behind that. So we offered the live Gen AI after that. So we had the Gen AI version. And then live Gen AI is, Gen AI is static information, but if people are asking for, current news or something that happened today, we have a live Gen AI, that's another upgrade that a lot of our customers are signing up for. And we are benefiting from increased revenue per unit. And a lot of that actually becomes renewable. So instead of a one-time fee for the cloud, they pay for a certain duration, and then there's a renewal after that. So that's another opportunity for growing revenue. Then the next milestone is agentic and Oasis. And that's going to bring even more capabilities, including voice commerce, which is something we've talked about for a while. And as I mentioned in my prepared remarks and in our press release today, we have a number of automakers and TV makers integrating our voice commerce, which is our agentic solution for devices, but it brings commerce opportunities. So while you're driving, you can order food, you can order coffee in the morning, you can order food for pickup on your way home. Ultimately, you can book parking or table reservation or other types of reservations. And that's a monetizable opportunity that brings revenue for us, more revenue for us, more revenue for the car makers, more leads for the merchants. And that's the agentic upgrade that is also going to bring more revenue.
Okay, and I apologize, I just got one more question. Regarding LivePerson, this is going to be your 5th acquisition, and what's the biggest lesson that you learned from integrating Amelia and interactions that you're going to be applying to LivePerson?
Oh, we've learned 1,000 lessons. It's not just one thing. I think we keep getting better at it every time. The first acquisition, I would say 2 years. After 2 years, we see a complete turnaround. It's on a path of growth. The revenue is growing, and a lot of complementary. There are a lot of upsell, cross-sell opportunities between, let's say, our first acquisition and our third acquisition. And the last one, which was not long ago, we are seeing that the same signs within a year that we saw maybe in the first one in 2 years. And it's not just about one thing. Again, it's 1,000 things. Integrating better, integrating faster, getting to know what they have, getting to know the team, meeting them, respecting all the innovation they have done, respecting every individual in the company and their vision, and getting in front of customers together. And in many cases, they become our leaders. We find amazing gems in these organizations that with a lot of potential, and we put them in charge of different business units and different teams, and that has been working really well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Scott Buck from Titan Partners. Scott, your line is now open.
Hi, good afternoon, guys. Thanks for taking my questions. I just have one today. In terms of, or as I think about path to sustainable profitability, beyond scaling revenue, what are going to be the biggest drivers? Is it mix shift? Is it improved efficiencies, pricing power? How does that kind of break down over time?
Yeah, so with our acquisitions, we get revenue opportunities. We also get cost synergy opportunities, and some of it is very obvious, like redundant, cloud providers, for example, or redundant vendors. And we are constantly exploring those. In fact, we talked about it a couple of quarters ago. We took certain actions in Q1 for those cost reductions, and we expect to see the impact of that in the next 1 or 2 quarters. So it's a combination of exploring those cost synergies and revenue growth, but also making the right investments. So another thing I mentioned in my prepared remarks was we have a strategy of a very calculated, responsible investment in our foundation models. Historically, we've been very strong in speech foundation models, which we call Polaris. Polaris will be powering Oasis. But now we see an opportunity to enhance our foundation models to cover specialized language models and speech synthesis. Now, this is the right time for us to do this because of the scale that we have, as we migrate all these customers to Oasis, the cost of hitting frontier models, for example, can be substantial. So making this investment now will be a fraction of the cost that we would experience if we migrate all of our traffic to Oasis, and in a very short span of time, it will have a return on the investment. So our COGS will go down, and our costs will go down because of this investment that we're making today. And Soundhound will basically have the full stack of all the models to power, the full agent experience of every interaction from our customer. And that type of innovation is going to reduce costs and improve profitability.
Perfect. That's helpful. That's all I had, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. This concludes the question and answer session. Thank you for your participation in today's conference. This does conclude the program, and you may now disconnect.
All right, what'd y'all think? I'm going to first show this picture right here because this is how I feel after this Soundhound earnings. This was amazing in my opinion. Owning stocks is renting a piece of human progress. I thought that was a tremendous earnings report overall. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Two Wheels, you say no sound. I believe you could hear me. Let me know. Let me know before I continue talking, before I waste any breath. I'm curious. Okay, we're good. Thank you, Two Wheels. I appreciate it. Yes, this picture right here is how I feel, that owning stocks is renting a piece of human progress. What a tremendous earnings report overall. I thought there were a lot of positives from that earnings report. To answer some questions, somebody was asking about Walmart and what this partnership is. Well, Walmart has their own brand, ONN, on. As you can see, they have have, you know, webcams here. They have the like Ring doorbell of their own to say, and different accessories. And so it's going to be Soundhound's technology that is working here exclusively with Walmart. That to me is a massive partnership. If you are working with Walmart, especially for this type of technology, that is massive. And then also, I do want to say earlier in the live stream, I was talking about how Soundhound did require a lot of funding with everything that they have been doing, a lot of research and development costs. But I did make one mistake with what I said in the early part of the stream. So whether you are here live or watching the replay, at the very beginning, I did say, you know, Soundhound had taken on some debt. I totally forgot until this earnings call. And usually I research all of this right before I come on live. But again, I was rushed today. So very happy to be here. Very blessed. Thank you again to everyone who is joining us. But I did forget that Soundhound did officially pay down all of their debt back at the end of 2024. So another reason to be bullish on Soundhound. Now they are still coming in with net losses, but the thing is, Soundhound, it has required a lot of research and development to get to this point. But the company, again, paying down their long debt, and Soundhound had a lot of positives to say from this earnings report. Also, I want to say I do believe that this is a buy the dip opportunity. I love what happened today with the earnings report. Now, of course, I wish we would have seen a further jump up. That could have been the start of the gamma squeeze, the big push up, because of how many shorts are within Soundhound. But with this drop that we saw, we are still within this range. We have been in a range where we have been seeing some lower highs and higher lows within Soundhound. With today's earnings drop, we did fall right to that point. We also talked about the gamma exposure levels before we actually saw the earnings report today. We have a lot of call gamma around 10, so a lot of bulls that do want to see Soundhound have a push up. If we got to the higher part of these levels here, Soundhound could reach back to $10. But we also do have a lot of bears. Again, this goes for weekly expiration. So this is just a tool we look at. I'm not saying this is exactly, you know, the most accurate thing. I'm not saying this will or will not happen, but it seems to work as price magnets. We also do have a lot of bears that are positioned right around 750. So we have a big jump between 10 for call gamma, and then we have a lot around 750 and 8 for that put gamma, and a lot around 9. So again, just like we were saying about Big Bear recently, I would not be surprised if we remained in this range. The dealers wanting to ideally put the calls and the puts, the price somewhere in the middle to cause a max pain. But with this drop, to me, this is a buy the dip opportunity. I will buy the dip for a short-term play here. I'll buy some double leveraged SOUN, which is SOUX. Every 1% that Soundhound goes up, SOUX goes by 2%. This will just be a short-term play. I am well positioned in Soundhound with long-term options contracts, and I'm very excited because, again, we just fell to the bottom of this range, and there were so many positive things to say about the earnings today. Oasis being one of the biggest things. It's funny, earlier when I was reading the acronym, I didn't even think to say out the word. It is Oasis. That is their new technology that they are looking to onboard all of their new customers. It looks very, very useful. And what I would say is this the most useful AI tool of all time? And then Croissant the Mom, is my audio still very low? Let me know, everybody. We got 45 here, so thank you to everybody who is here, but I just want to make sure that my audio is clear for everybody. Do you guys hear me? Let me know in the live chat, and then I will continue with my thoughts. Please let me know. Am I loud here? Is it quiet? Let me know in that live chat. I'm curious because I want to give you guys some thoughts I took. I took a lot of notes from this earnings. So please let me know. Can you guys hear me well? 44 in the live chat. Again, I want to say to everyone who is here, these are the early days of Green Money Momentum. So I started the channel back at the end of 2024. It has been a ton of fun. We've made a ton of progress with this channel. And somebody, please let me know if you could hear me. I want to make sure that the audio is not too low before I do continue. I don't know if you guys are talking in there or if it's being delayed on my side of the thing. Well, I guess I'll listen here on my phone. And then it's fine, brother. Thank you, Eric. I do appreciate that. That's why you have a wrench. You help to keep these streams on pace. And again, just what I was saying, and I'll get back to my next thought about Soundhound. These are the early days of green money momentum. So to everybody who's here, we're still under 3,000 subscribers, but I just started my website, greenmoneymomentum.com. Soon I'll have a chat room there where we can all connect, talk about the different investments we're in. And as I say, I am going to keep this free for everyone. That is my commitment. I just love to do this. I have a big passion for coming and talking here on this YouTube channel. But getting back to the Soundhound AI thoughts, my question to everybody: is this new tool, this new Oasis tool, is this going to be the most useful tool of all time? Because AI is so useful already, but now the AI will be able to train the AI. And something I liked that we got in the question and answers is that there is still going to be a human oversight. So instead of there being glitches or things that need to be fixed, mishaps with the AI and the human having to come and fix that, now the AI can fix the AI. It could fix those things. It could, make everything better. And then there's a human oversight to just approve of this. So it's not like we'll start to see the AI continually get worse, because with every single innovation, there will have to be approval from that human oversight. That is great to hear. And overall, I am very bullish about this Oasis. It seems like they've put a lot of work into that. That is tremendous. It's so funny with that Q&A. Something I wrote down is it almost sounded like that first question came from a bear, maybe somebody that was doing some shorting on Soundhound AI. He was saying that, why is this company, why is Soundhound picking up all these dead companies, the way he worded it, basically picking up all these acquisitions? Why not just work on the underlying Soundhound? But Soundhound is working on the underlying Soundhound. That's tremendous to know that they've been making acquisitions, improving the company. Their balance sheet is great, debt free. And then what else did I write down here? Again, doing well with working with other businesses. I got a bunch here also. The orchestrated AI agent system, fleets of, the way they worded it too, fleets of AI agents in minutes, and this greatly compresses time. So with this AI tool, this Oasis, being able to create fleets of AI, so not just one AI on one AI, but fleets of it, and being able to compress time greatly. Auto orders doubled the orders commitment this time around. They are still losing money, so still, cost in research and development. Strong deals overall. Also, what I really like to hear is these restaurants that are using Soundhound, they're actually seeing real results, really seeing ROI from using Soundhound's technology. So great to hear that these, people that are using Soundhound are actually seeing progress from using Soundhound's technology. And then they talked a lot about a Japanese auto manufacturer. They did not name this Japanese auto manufacturer, so it's just left up to speculation for who that is, but a big 7-figure deal with them. They also expanded to South America, and also, again, working with Walmart, this big deal here, this ONN, that is massive for Walmart's, things such as like the Amazon tool that listens to you and all of that. So overall, I am very bullish about what we saw. I thought that was a tremendous earnings report overall. And again, we are still in this range with lower highs and higher lows. At the top of this range being right around $10, which also coincides with where a lot of call gamma is. So if the bulls get their way this week, options expiration for this week, we could potentially reach back up to 10. That's where a lot of calls are positioned, and that would not be out of question, especially because we are in this range. For this earnings report, the bears did get what they want. We did see a drop within Soundhound. I'm sure the shorts are happy, but the shorts should also be covering, because overall things looked very useful, very positive in this earnings report. And again, their new tool of Oasis, that, sounds so groundbreaking, possibly the most useful AI tool of all time. And then I agree with this comment right here. There is 10x opportunity in SOUN. Someone was asking me where I believe SOUN can go later this year. Well, what I will say with SOUN, again, they have a very small market cap with a high short interest. If we start to see a lot of volume and money pour into Soundhound, we could greatly see this price improve here. And that's what I love about the small caps. It doesn't take as much money to move a small cap as it does a larger cap stock. And again, Soundhound has super useful technology. Before this earnings call, I loved the technology with Soundhound, but they just made that big acquisition with that company, Live Person, I think it was. And overall, their Oasis, that is massive. So just in the AI space, this company is doing great things. And honestly, with how great that news was, I'm surprised we still pushed down within Soundhound. To me, again, this is a buy the dip opportunity. All great news. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I agree with you, Eric. Today overall was a very bloody day. Well, I don't want to say a super bloody day within the markets. I mean, we've had some great days overall, but when we do look at the major indexes, they finally did have a red day. Both the NASDAQ and the S&P was down, as well as many different assets. We've seen a lot of face rip and rally type momentum recently, but today a bit of a red day. So not too surprised with this sell-off here. But again, it's not like a sell-off because, Soundhound missed earnings or has terrible expectations for the future. Again, I think it's crazy there's such a high short interest on Soundhound. Overall, it does seem that the insiders know what they are doing with this company. And again, they are constantly innovating. And what's incredible with Soundhound, there's been a lot of research and development costs to get to this point, but Soundhound right now has no long-term standing debt on their balance sheet. So I do believe there will be a squeeze sometime here in the near future with Soundhound. Again, when it comes to stocks and the markets, a lot of people will promote that next candle mentality. They want to either spook you either way, whether it's to have fear of missing out or fear, uncertainty, and doubt, saying like, oh my God, this is going to happen tomorrow in either direction. Like this stock is going to squeeze tomorrow, or this stock is going to collapse tomorrow. I can't tell you exactly what will happen with Soundhound, but I could see there being a big bounce up tomorrow, especially if we see the continuation of the rally that we have most recently seen within the markets in terms of technical analysis. Again, bouncing off of this ascending support here. Also very positive to see that we did see this bounce off this green line. I had this drawn out before we actually even got these movements also. And again, with a market cap under 5 billion right now, I consider this to be a great opportunity, especially if Soundhound just came out with the most useful AI technology ever. What an incredible tool to have the AI training the AI and then to have a human oversight just to make sure that things don't go wrong. Again, a big commitment with that Japanese auto manufacturer. So we could only, guess who that is. We can only speculate who that is, but we do know that Soundhound works with many different Fortune 500 companies. Again, this Live Person acquisition. So it seems like almost Soundhound is going from just being this company, which is, around sound AI, but to becoming more AI, making very useful AI tools here. Many, they were also talking about with this Oasis technology and just their sound technology, it being in cars and being able to place orders for you. And overall, just incredible use case with this company right here. And it's crazy because there's been a lot of talk about an AI bubble going all the way back to October of last year. Soundhound has been crashing since October, and now we are down more than 50% from these highs. And so I do consider this to be a great buy the dip opportunity. Overall, again, we are appearing to trend back up, and right now we are at this level of rising support. So I am very bullish on Soundhound. After this earnings report today, I am even more bullish on Soundhound with everything, with the actual report, how they are doing with revenue, with these acquisitions, with everything in the question and answer. So let me know in the comments section, guys, how you all feel. 855, again, yes, it is pushing up, Eric. It's like we did get that big sell-off initially, which to me was unjustified because they didn't even report anything bad with the numbers, and Wall Street can be such a spoiled brat. I mean, when we look at how they actually came in, according to the estimates from Wall Street, they did beat there, and they have great guidance for the future. 225 million to 260 million for revenue projected for this year. They did say that during the earnings call. So this company is doing tremendous things. I am super, super bullish on Soundhound, one of my favorite small caps. And then, oh, wow, thank you so much, my friend. You are awesome. Two Wheels Pursuit. I really, really appreciate that. Again, to everybody who is here, for the first time, or if you are a long-term subscriber, I'm always transparent. I show you guys everything, and I just want you to know I called you Sound. I just want you to know Two Wheels Pursuit, with that donation, you basically just paid my YouTube salary, because if we just go back to, let's say the last live, this was a poppin' live, by the way, so thank you to all who showed up to this. We had 1,400 views at this live, but look at what YouTube paid me. Okay, it's not on there yet. Let's go back. I got a donation on this Robinhood one, so I want to show one where there wasn't a donation. I got 10 cents. Okay, I got 10 cents from a live stream we had done on Sunday. So this donation really does help the channel, Two Wheels Pursuit. I really do appreciate all your support. Again, you've been one of the best subscribers of this channel at every single live stream that we've done. And again, to everyone who does want to support this channel, now or in the future, you are always welcome to donate, such as Two Wheels has done here. Again, Two Wheels, this is not your first donation, so I thank you for this donation and all the others. But soon I will also have a clothing brand all around finance clothing, stock market clothing. I have a lot of ideas, a lot of exciting ideas, and you can support my brand through that. Once I get the website fully integrated, we'll also have a chat room here. And so these are the early days of Green Money Momentum, but I look forward to when I have that store out, and I'm going to make some really classy, cool clothing. And so in the future, you are welcome to also donate through the channel in that way, looking to provide you guys value as always. As I've said many times, I will have a lot of education courses on this. I'll talk about options contracts, maybe some of my craziest stories within the stock market. We'll have this chat room for us all to connect, a clothing brand, and so much more. And I'm going to keep it all free, other than the clothing brand. You could buy some of the clothes from the store, but otherwise everything will be free, because that is my commitment to all of you. I do this out of passion, and as I always talk about, above everything else, this channel is all about return on investment, all about performance, and we are performance based. We are focusing on just improving our performance. And with Soundhound, again, I have some options contracts on Soundhound that expire later this year, and they have some pretty low break evens. And so these are option calls, and I want to do so much more talking about the calls and the puts, because mainly I focus on the call side. But with what we are seeing right now in the markets, if you've never studied options contracts or you don't understand them, I definitely suggest doing some studying on options. And I made a video a little over a year ago. Let's see if I could pull it up here. It's just about Big Bear AI and options contracts. And this is the strategy that I basically use. So go back, watch this video if you haven't seen it. It's titled Making 100% Return with Options, a strategy that changed my life and could change yours. And basically this strategy, which again, I break down more in this 21-minute video, but this strategy is basically just talking about how I play with a lot of different options contracts, and it focuses on small caps. It focuses on one that is similar to Soundhound in terms of the market cap. That is Big Bear AI. And what I basically talk about in that video is how with Big Bear, what I was doing, what I still am doing, and what I am doing with Soundhound currently, is when these stocks are beat down, I like to buy the dip on options contracts that are essentially leaps, go far out into the future, because again, I can't exactly tell you what the very next candle will do. Although technical analysis right now looks amazing, we just bounced off of this level of ascending support. Anything is possible. We could break down beneath it, or we could remain in this channel. But I can't tell you exactly what will happen tomorrow. But with this bullish earnings that we just got, what I will say is come the end of 2026, I expect Soundhound to be a lot higher than it is right now. So what I love about those options contracts is, it is 100. So every single option that you get, that holds up to 100 shares. So it's a form of leverage. And when these stocks print, they really print in the options market, especially especially in the small caps, especially with such a small price right now at just $8.50. And so on these small caps with a low price, these options can really print if we see a lot of momentum, if we see a squeeze, a gamma squeeze. So again, I like to go far out into the future. That's why I also like to look at the weekly expiration and the main levels of gamma, because gamma influences delta, and delta is really where the contract lies at in terms of price. But with gamma, it basically accelerates the delta. So again, we have a lot of gamma this week around 10, basically just where a price magnet is, where a lot of options contracts are placed at. But what I like to do, I like to go farther out into the future. I like to go on a farther expo. So I do have some out in October, some beyond that. But if we do look at October later this year, the GEX does go higher. The gamma exposure levels, we could see there's even more now, around 16. And there's a lot of time to lead up to this point. And so with the options market, when you do buy the contracts earlier now opposed to later, like say you are buying on weekly expos this week, your break-even price is going to be higher. So it's going to be closer to where the weekly expiration, you know, where we were talking about earlier, the max pain is. So I like to go further out into the future. And then if we see acceleration in something like Soundhound, my break even is lower, and then time volatility hurts less. And it's less of a prevalent factor that could destroy the contract. If you know anything about contracts, they can be zero or hero. You could either see asymmetrical ROI, or you can get crushed and have your option expire worthless. But that's what's great about going out into the future. The further out you go, the less likely that you will get crushed. I also have some options on AMD, which this is very exciting. Just talking about that, Advanced Micro Devices has seen a crazy rip, and I had some options that I bought back here. I was looking at the technical analysis when it looked like we were going to see a bullish cross, and then boom, the explosion has been incredible. Those are up hundreds of percent points. I have, again, contracts out for Soundhound in the future, many different plays. I have contracts for Qubit, QUBT, which were up 100% before today's drop down. Let me see. These were at 113% the other day. Let me see what they're at now. This is for Qubit, by the way, QUBT. But just to talk about some of the volatility. So this is insane. This is the type of volatility you get with options, by the way. Just the other day, yesterday, they were up 113%, now up 32%. So they got dropped significantly today, but that is because Qubit, QUBT did also have a big drop today, down by 7%. But that's what I love about the options market, is it can make a return on investment just crazy. Again, these are more of trading opportunities. So I do go long. I do have a portfolio where I buy long-term plays, one of those being Robinhood, the RVI. I also buy index funds, the triple Qs, the IWM, which is the 2000, and other long-term stocks and plays. But I also like to trade with the options contracts. Now to get back to the chat, again, thank you so much, Two Wheels. I really do appreciate that. And then I hope this takes off. Mr. Rick Fowler with the, whose ring is that? That is, I can't really tell who that is, but that's a cool championship ring. And then I hope this channel takes off as well, if that's what you're talking about. And then if you're talking about Soundhound, I also hope that takes off. And overall, the catalysts on Soundhound do look bullish. Again, this was a great earnings report in my perception. So with this sell-off, I consider this to be a buy the dip opportunity, especially because we are still in that channel of rising support and resistance. And then Iran currently targeting us, Navy in the SOH. Yeah, war concerns probably will continue for a while. As I've talked about my viewpoint on the markets, if you're here for the first time or if you've missed my most recent videos, as I do believe that the markets will continue to push up, even if the war in Iran continues to happen, and if the Strait of Hormuz stays closed. I understand that inflation will rise. I understand that oil will rise, but I also understand that the government and the Federal Reserve constantly kick the can down the road. And we have a president who just the other day was bragging about the stock market once again. I was going to talk about this here in a second, but the president was once again bragging about the stock market. So that is what is most important to President Trump. And overall, there's a lot of talks about manipulation manipulation. We've heard of many trades that happened just moments before a big announcement and major volatility. That is most likely happening. And if anything, the Securities and Exchange Commission will only do a slap on the wrist like they always do. But to say that is saying that our president really wants to see this market continue to push up. So despite whatever is happening out there, I do believe that the rally will continue through the second half of the year. And that is why I have been positioning in many different plays in technology, AI, including the one that we have in earnings for today, which is Soundhound. And then let me guess, McHale's Navy, they are partying at the local bar. That is funny. And then gas going to go nuts. Wow, that's funny. I was actually just saying all that. No, you're probably right. Gas probably will go nuts. You know what's crazy about this thought? Now, I am one who is looking at the optimistic future. And again, we talk a lot about how the economy is not the stock market. Now, let's say the Strait of Hormuz situation does continue to get worse. Can you imagine right now? There's already a lot of pressure on many different individuals. We've talked about the pressure on things such as fertilizer, just the overall economy. Again, so much, is around oil. Oil is transportation. We saw Spirit Airlines recently close, which brings me to another meme. This is the Spirit Airlines right here. JetBlue, can I buy you? Sure. And then Elizabeth Warren saying she's not interested in that is the end of Spirit. So there's been a lot of conversation about that. But really, oil has rose a little bit, but really nothing compared to if the situation stays bad for a long time. Could you imagine if oil continued to shoot up? And right now, gas where I'm at is at $5. Now, can you imagine if it was 10, if it was 15? Oil could continue to shoot up, but at the same time, I know that's a lot of bears what they want. That's a lot of bears thesis that everything is going to get incredibly bad because of that Strait of Hormuz situation. Now, who knows really how long that will take? And again, the markets are rallying right now. Imagine if it does continue to take longer and oil does continue to get worse. That could be a lot of constraints on society, but I don't see that happening. I believe there will be a resolution, at least in terms of oil. There may be an ongoing war for a long time, but the government, the Federal Reserve, are not going to allow these markets to fail, even if gas does rise. So hopefully gas comes down. Hopefully that situation gets fixed, but only time will tell. This is so funny. Pirates of the Caribbean. That was quite the movie, wasn't it? And then anti-aircraft fire in Tehran. This scuds for you. Getting through the chat here. Yeah, I could totally see that happening. And if that does happen, Two Wheels, crazy enough, it's going to continue to be bullish for the markets. Like I say, there is more money lost by trying to predict the top or the bottom and getting in and out than just being well positioned, because many are predicting a crash still, which is crazy, but I don't see that happening. At most, we'll get some type of a big pullback at some point, but it does appear that the markets are going to the upside despite what is happening out in Iran. And again, we live in a time frame where our government will lie to us about the statistics that we get with inflation and jobs and everything like that. So the markets will probably continue to rally off of great reports, especially once we get that new federal chairman in. And even if the reports aren't bad, it's like, I think the markets, as I've talked about many times since 2024, are really focused on the M2 money supply, the expansion of the reserves, the Fed, everything they're doing. And Kevin Warsh, he's going to be the new federal chairman. So we live in a time of funny money, and I believe that's what the markets are really focused on. We're supposed to get Kevin Warsh here this next week, so we'll see how the markets react. I know some have talked about how historically it's not great when the markets get a new federal chairman. But again, at most, if the markets do react bad to Kevin Warsh, maybe we'll get some type of pullback, maybe a little bit of an intense pullback at some point, but that will probably just lead us higher up. It's so funny, we were talking about this when it first happened, this gap up, and I was saying maybe the gap would get filled when we had the potential of a higher low, but the gap never got filled and the markets have been rallying. And when I saw that gap not get filled there, I instantly got even more bullish. I see a lot of financial news media and other YouTubers who have still been saying to stay warned, but to me, this was the right side of the V moment. And this is, again, it's crazy how similar of a setup this was to last year. Now, again, the situation out in Iran really is happening. Again, this really will have long-term implications on the on everything, on the economy. oil rising is an insane thing to see overall. But what I will say is the market's, again, so technical, so reliant on the M2 money supply, the Federal Reserve, everything like that. It's like last year we got the short attack leading up to Liberation Day, a lot around the tariffs. This year, the short attack all around the war, and boom, big technical bounce there, boom, big technical bounce there. And again, last year, this was coined as the most hated V recovery of all time. Many were salty about this. Let's see if this ends up being the most hated V recovery of all time. Once again, we got the midterms later this year. We got a new federal chairman coming in place, and we do have President Trump, the most bullish president of all time, always taking the chance to brag about the stock market, and could affect the market. Yeah, it could short term, but I would say, Eric, if that is the case, if all of this situation, if the whole situation out in Iran, if that is affecting everything, then, well, why are we at brand new all-time highs? Why are we seeing a SPY at 730 and a triple Qs at 694? Thanks, Trevor. Till next time, bro. Keep up the great work. Much appreciated. Ollie, thank you for joining me. Yes, I will be finishing up here in just a second. We'll take a look here at this situation that happened out at the White House. For my conspiracy theorists out there, what do you think about the fact that, you know, many civilizations fall after 250 years, and we're having the celebration of the 250th year of America coming up, and we have, what's it called? We have the Justin Gaethje. We have the UFC for 250. So that is very interesting. But, you know, Justin Gaethje was at the White House, and I just want to say, they're going to hit us with an ad. I just want to say that was pretty cool that they had him at the White House. This guy right here to me is super relatable, because I'm out here in Arizona. I'm actually wearing the copper tie because a lot of Arizona is copper mining, and copper mining is very hard work. I mean, these guys are really doing some intense labor, and Justin Gaethje in the past worked doing labor such as that. Now he's going to be at the White House fighting. So I don't know if anybody saw that clip, but it was a pretty funny clip overall. And then great work. Thank you, Eric. I do appreciate it. Again, we're going to be wrapping up here in just a second. And then what strike price would be good for a great return on investment for Soundhound leap calls, long calls, 1 year plus? Is it in the money, at the money, or deep in the money? Well, I would say great question, by the way, Naveen. Again, check out my video that I made a little bit over a year ago talking about options contracts and how to make 100% return on investment. I go into some deep analysis on that. It's a 21-minute video, and I explain everything with how I look at the options contracts. But in my opinion, what I consider the safest thing to be to fight volatility and still see asymmetric return on investment. I like to be as close to in the money as possible. Slightly out of the money isn't bad, but don't go way out of the money unless you're looking for more risk. Being close to in the money brings down the volatility overall. And then gas is $7 where I live. Where do you live? I'm curious. That is quite high. Got to get the military update. D-Dog. And then we got, what the heck is that emoji? Okay, thanks, my friend. Hey, great to see you, by the way, Neximus. I love the Mario picture. You didn't answer yesterday. Did you go to the Mario movie yet? And I do like that right there. And then I agree with that. Please explain the gamma in options contracts and how you find it and which website, please. Yes, thank you again. I appreciate you for being here. I go to Unusual Whales for this. This right here, we've been looking mainly at weekly option expirations, and, you know, gamma just influences delta, and delta is really, you know, where the contract can lie. If you look at delta, for example, it's kind of like the simplest way to say it, like the odds of where the contract is in terms of actually being able to pay out. Like if you have a 70 delta, that basically means that you have like a 70% chance of the contract actually finishing in the money. But I go to Unusual Whales. I just type in whatever ticker it is, and then I hit gamma. I go down to the levels here where we could see where the put gamma is, the call gamma, and also net gamma. So you could also just turn these two off and just see where major levels of gamma are without looking at puts and calls. But we could see, again, we have a lot of gamma, again, around 8, 757, and then we have higher levels around 10. What's interesting about this range, this also coincides with this range right here of ascending support and resistance. But yes, go to Unusual Whales for that. That is the best place to go. And again, gamma basically just influences delta, basically the acceleration of delta. So what's amazing about this, again, the dealers are the ones that give us from retail the options contracts to be able to invest into. And so I just lost it. There we go. So with this, let me get that back on. With this, it just shows where the main price magnets are, basically where a lot of options are placed. Many times, if you do see it break through a major level of gamma, you can see a big acceleration in the price. It's pretty interesting overall. And if you've ever heard the term of gamma squeeze, that's where it comes through the stock breaking through the different levels of gamma, breaking through the call volume, which then just influences more buying in Soundhound, and then Soundhound or any other asset, and just pushes up the asset overall. What's very interesting about the gamma exposure, again, though, you will see, again, the dealer is the one who issues the contracts. They want to see a lot of max pain. So many times you will see where the major levels of gamma are. You will see the stock just slightly finish like right underneath that, to say, right, or right at the most major levels where there is the most resistance between the two. Because again, the dealers don't want to pay out contracts. They want to see many go OTM, out of the money, and then expire worthless. That's why we like to look at the weekly expirations. And as you go further out in the expirations, you can see a lot of that gamma also change. I mean, look at this right here. If you go all the way out to 121, you have strikes all the way at $35. So that is incredible right there. We will see if we get some gamma squeezes through these levels, and then eventually we can make these bulls happier at these higher levels. And so it's very interesting, just a tool to look at. Again, it's not an exact to say that this will or will not happen, but I just like to look at gamma exposure to really see an indication on where prices can be. And again, many times for these earnings reports and when there's expected volatility, or just in general, this is where you could see the price kind of act as a magnet. And then what strike would be a good for a great return on investment for Soundhound? Leap calls, long calls, 1 year plus. Is it in the money? I think I might have already answered that, but wow, by the way, we got another super chat here. Naveen, thank you so much to Two Wheels Pursue and Naveen from the bottom of my heart. Seriously, I cannot thank you guys enough. I do this for the passion of it. I'm not selling any courses. All the knowledge that I have is all knowledge that I have learned. I'm constantly always just trying to improve myself, always trying to read up on financial news for relevant news, up-to-date news, always reading older books, just everything I can. I'm always studying the markets. I'm always studying everything. I read macroeconomic books. I read books about psychology, everything, options books, and so on and so on. And we have a plethora of knowledge and tools out there to use to better ourselves as investors. And so that's always what I'm trying to do. I started this channel back in 2024 as a trading journal, something to where I could see how I feel about certain times and moments in history, see if I could make the correct calls, and just try to better myself as an investor. And also for the community, this Green Money Momentum family that we have. And I do this just for the passion of it. I love doing this. I'm never looking for any money from you guys. I'm always just trying to, again, improve myself as an investor and be able to give that knowledge to all of you for free. Again, never financial advice, just my opinion, but I really do not make a ton of money from this channel. Like earlier, we were looking at a past live stream where I just made 10 cents. So, donations like this, Naveen, it really does mean a lot, and it really does help to support this channel. So thank you so much. And if you missed it earlier, Naveen, also, I recently started a greenmoneymomentum.com. I will have a shirt brand, or a clothing brand, I should say, on there soon, and then you could buy some of those shirts to support the channel. But thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Again, that donation really does mean a lot. I really do mean that. It's like we are still a small channel here on Green Money Momentum, but it's pure passion, and I'm really so happy to be doing this. So thank you so much, Naveen. And then it looks like Wild Things is not too happy. Thank you, Naveen. Yes, thank you, Naveen, and also thank you, Two Wheels. And then I'm bullish on Sound, as am I, Wild Things. And then we are all very bullish. He says, holy cow, I watched it with my grandfather, San Fernando, California. Oh, you're out in beautiful California. Well, that is amazing. I bet you have amazing weather, high gas prices, amazing weather. What do you think of XMTR? Are you knowledgeable on that sector? I'll have to do that research another time. I'm going to be finishing up here on a live stream soon, but I'll keep that in memory. There could be a lot of drone warfare in Iran over the next decade, drone surveillance, etc. I do agree with you. Palantir, an interesting play. Ondas also an interesting play, but when we do look at Palantir, this is just something to think about. Recently, the president did tweet out how great of a company Palantir is. Remember when he tweeted out how great of a company that Intel was? Now, that was a bit different because the government did take a stake within Intel, but we've seen a crazy rally most recently in Intel. So do not doubt what Palantir can do and these defense stocks. Again, Ondas is a very interesting one. It's $11. I hope not. I agree to wheels. Drones will be the future. 11 for gas. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Yeah, many firms already mass producing specialized drones takes place of boots on grounds. Yeah, that really is the future. And if you really think about it, just talking about tools and technology again for this earnings report, it seems that Soundhound may have came out with the greatest technology ever produced for artificial intelligence and language learning models to say, but the drone technology, basically the greatest warfare technology ever created. It's actually scary how great drones are in terms of a weapon. Now, if we just talk about the Second Amendment of, having the right to bear arms, I'm not saying that it is bad to have the right to bear arms. I'm not saying I'm for it or against it, really. Hold up, guys. I'm not really saying I'm for it or against it. You could have your opinions on the Second Amendment. Everyone could have a gun. I don't really care. But the thing is, if you were ever talking about a government fighting the government, sometimes the argument is, we'll keep our weapons so we can't run into a tyrannical government. Well, in 2026, if the government wanted to be tyrannical, if they wanted to force you in your house, they have drones, everybody. And drones are insane because if you think about a drone, they could have anything on there. They nowadays drop packages. I've seen videos with Amazon dropping packages. They could have guns, they could drop bombs, they could do everything, and they're so aerodynamic. So a drone could go anywhere. I have a DJI drone. I might show that. You know what? Here, I always like to show you guys my props. Let me see if I could find that. By the way, we're going to be wrapping up here in this live stream in just a second. Here we go. I think I found where my drone is, everybody. But drones are incredibly useful technology, and it's insane, really. It's scary in many different ways. And to anyone who's been terrorized by a drone, I mean, God bless their soul. That is it's scary, really. But here, I'll show my drone right here. Pretty cool. There's the remote right there. And again, we're going to be wrapping up here in a second. So thank you to everybody who joined on the live stream today. Another fun one. And today I was brisk to get to the computer. So usually I have a little bit more preparation. But, like I say, we are an early channel and I'm putting a lot of work into this. I've spent so many days right here doing technical fundamental analysis and making videos despite my entire day being so busy. And I'm just going to continue to dedicate more time to this, continue to build out the channel. But there you have it right there, a drone. So just think about this. You could add a gun to this and this thing could move in any which direction. So if you're trying to fight this thing right here, it's like, dude, this thing could go anywhere. It can go up, down, it could attack you. There's even a tox, boom, hit you right in the forehead. So just something to worry about, but yeah, I do agree the drone stocks are probably going to be bullish continuing on in some ways, unfortunately, because I don't want to see humanity have these things type of happen. I'm someone who wants peace between countries, peace between everybody. I really don't have anything against anybody, even if they are a hater of this channel or they are not a fan of me or even people I've had problems with in my life. I don't want to see warfare overall. I just heard a term recently about warfare, and I thought it was actually pretty accurate. And what was the term? It was something like, it was actually a famous quote, but is the old and bitter using the dumb and stupid. I don't say dumb and stupid, but I say the young and desperate or the young and forced, because if you go through a draft, you have no saying in that, but it is the old and bitter that cause these wars and cause these things to happen. It's unfortunate. The young and desperate in the need of young and desperate or young and controlled. There we go. That's the better way to put it. The young and controlled. I respect everybody who has been a member of the military, active or former. So thank you to everybody for your service. But when we talk about the governments, yeah, it's the old and bitter sending the young and controlled in the sense of you are a member of this government. So whether you volunteer to go to the military or not, again, there are tremendous benefits to the military. What they actually make members of the military do you at times very sad. All militaries across the world, so not just USA, but all of them. Warfare, again, this is just my opinion, is just super unfortunate and super sad overall. And if we had a utopia, really everything would be perfect overall. So anyway, guys, again, to wrap up today, I believe this is a buy the dip opportunity, a slash here in the price, down by 9%. But what's cool is we are still in this channel right here with a rising support and a rising resistance. Overall, again, I'll say very bullish on this company. Small cap, I believe there's a long way to go. And if there is a lot of buying soon, we could see a lot of squeeze momentum, about 40% of the float being shorted. With that being said, everybody, I'm about to sign out of here, but I want to thank everybody who was here in the live chat. Eric, thank you for being here. Neximus, thank you for being here. Two Wheels, thank you for being here. And thank you for your donation. Chrisan the Mom, thank you for being here. Two Wheels again. And then, yeah, and then Naveen, thank you for being here as well. And thank you for the donation, and to everybody who was here. And I'm sure Stephanie will be back in a live stream once again here very soon. Two Wheels, and then we'll let Stephanie talk about that. But guys, thank you so much all for attending another live stream. I had to rush here onto the computer today, but we made it. We made another successful one, another fun live stream, and overall super bullish about everything. Peace out, my friend. Please leave a like if you didn't already, and please subscribe to the channel if you aren't already done. If you haven't already done so, this is Trevor with Green Money Momentum. This to me is always a blessing to be able to do this. So to everybody who participated, I mean it when I say I am so incredibly blessed to be able to do this. I am so happy to be able to do this, and I really, truly appreciate every single one of you. The next time I should see you guys is on Sunday for the next live stream, 30 minutes before the overnight session does start. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you all in tomorrow's Daily Talk of Stock.